You know how we're going to start it off. right, what's up, everybody? And whoo! Do me a favor. When we come into this room, in this channel, everybody put a glass in the air. Put a cigar in the air. Because right now, we're about to smoke our cigars, drink our liquor, and we're going to hang with our nigga. Shout out to Electrician 480, AB Media. Whoo! Another fire stream by Green Gorilla. Thanks for showing up, man. And I'm different stated. What precedent does this set? Should a grand jury be handling this case? The law is the law unless a black man causes his death in himself by breaking the law. Get your glasses of beer, get your chalices of beer, your shots, your martinis, your wine glasses, and your cigars. Put them in the air in the chat, man. Let me know you're here. Let me introduce you to this case in Chicago that you probably already know. You probably, maybe, sort of, kind of just know. And this is from, of course, the incident with the Chicago charges dropped against mother in Chicago deadly shooting. Some people may not like my take on this, but I'm going to give it anyway. Murder charges have been dropped against a mother and her son accused of killing a man during a fight inside a restaurant on June 18th in the West Pullman neighborhood. Cook County prosecutors announced Monday all charges have been dropped against Carlisha Hood and her 14-year-old son. They're not going to give the name of the child because there's laws that protect minors against their name being put out there. Probably, if he was convicted, it probably would be different. The Cook County State Attorney's office, in a statement based upon facts, evidence, and the law, we are unable to meet our burden of proof in the prosecution of these cases. I call bullshit on that. If they want to charge you, they will charge you. They already had in their mind they weren't going to charge them. So, Hood, 35 years old, and her son were initially arrested on Wednesday in connection to a fatal shooting of 32-year-old Jeremy Brown. Judge Barbara Dawkins ordered Hood to be held on $3 million bond. Hood's next court date, had been set for next month, but prosecutors scheduled a hearing for Monday where they announced they were dropping all charges. Hey, everybody, put your glasses in the air. Let me know we get some participation. Put your cigars and your shot glasses in the chat. Around 11 p.m. on June 18th, Hood went inside Maxwell Street Express to pick up food while her son waited in the car. While she was waiting in line, Hood got into an argument with Brown, prosecutor said. Hood then started to text her son and point to him outside. Her son entered Maxwell's and stood in the doorway, at which point Brown punched Hood in the head 3 times, prosecutor said. Curiouser and curiouser, as they say. Court documents stated after the first punch, the boy pulled out the gun and fired a shot at Brown, striking him in the back. Brown ran out of the restaurant and the boy followed him, firing additional shots. Hood told her son to keep shooting Brown until he killed him, according to prosecutors. I'm going to keep reading. I'm not. No. Please share, like, share, subscribe. Once the shooting was over, Hood told her son to shoot Brown's girlfriend, who was egging on the argument she was having earlier. Hood tried to wrangle the gun away from her son, but he pushed her away, court documents said. They got into the vehicle and drove home together. Surveillance video captured both of them arriving home after the shooting. Brown suffered 2 gunshot wounds to the back and was pronounced dead at the scene. After the shooting, police sent out a community alert Tuesday asking for the public to identify Hood and her son. Hood turned herself in to the police on Thursday. During her search, police recovered an unloaded, unregistered handgun along with an empty magazine. Further investigation revealed Hood has a valid Illinois FOID card and concealed carry license. Hood and her son were initially charged with 1 count of first-degree murder. Hood was charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor. All charges have been dropped. Community activist Jamal Green said it was self-defense. Here comes the sun brigade. I would never praise a situation that ended violence. In this case, the young man did what he felt like he needed to do, Green said. Video sent to Fox 32 over the weekend apparently showed the confrontation between Hood and Brown inside the restaurant. The video showed Hood being punched in the head multiple times before a gunshot can be heard. That was by the Sun Media Times Wire. Now, we're going to get to the nitty-gritty. I'm going to let you hear the community activist make statements on what he said. I think it's very interesting that we'll have people make statements about this case and how they really should have been charged. Why does a 14-year-old boy have a gun in his hand? I'm not mad about protecting your mom or your father, but that means he pulled the gun out the whole time in his pocket. I'm going to let you hear what the comments of this so-called activist says.
Over the past few days, this has been a social media discussion all over social media. I put up a post about it. Got over 31 million views over the past couple of days. You know, let me just say everything that happened in this situation was terrible. First, of course, there was a loss of life, and we are always sympathetic to the loss of life, especially in Chicago when you lose people so much, with hundreds of people being killed. In this situation, it started off with a very violent attack in which Ms. Hood, who has been a supporter for many years, her son saw his mother being hit by this man several times. At first, when this situation first uncovered, the media covered it as the mother directed her son to kill someone, in which everyone around the city of Chicago was like, oh my God, why would that mother do something like this? Then the video surfaced. I posted the video. It got over 31 million views. And folks all over the country said that this is a case of self-defense. Let me first just say that I am disheartened that people were there, especially men that were there, that watched this happen, and it had to be a 14-year-old boy to save his mother. Where are we as a community if situations like this can happen and a woman can be severely attacked and no one does anything? There were several people in the establishment, and everyone said it wasn't their problem, and they backed up. And it took her own son, 14 years old, to step up and, put it into this situation and do what he felt was right. This son, actor, starred Chirac movie, star in The Chi, wasn't just some young kid that was out here carjacking and killing. He was actually a kid who had, a bright and has a bright future and has done a lot of great things in his life. And so in this situation, he was looking out for his mother. No one else would. No one else in the establishment did anything. And so once he saw his mother being severely, hit, he took action. I would never praise the loss of life. I would never praise any situation that ends in violence. It's not okay, especially in the city of Chicago. But in this case, this young boy did what he felt was right. And I believe that the decision by the state's attorney today was correct. But what I need to say is that we need cultural foundation in these neighborhoods. We need to bring a village back. People need to understand that we got to stop allowing this violent behavior in our neighborhoods, period. Should never be any case where anyone is putting their hands on someone and acting violently in any establishment, in any neighborhood. And we got to step up and say enough is enough. And it shouldn't have ended this way, especially with so many other people that were in Maxwell. But it took this 14-year-old son to step up and say enough is enough. I think today's charges were correct.
Now, I hate these so-called Negro Teps who see the reality of what the world is. We need to bring back a village. We were never a damn village. Let's be logical about this shit. Let's be really logical. So, this, after I've read to you what they dropped, let me explain this to you. Why does the 14-year-old have a gun on his possession? Because he pulled it out from his hoodie, in the pocket of his hoodie. So that means the mom was in there, should have done one thing. As soon as it was getting hot, she should have left. But people be like, oh, you can't blame her. Look, they were arguing for a minute. If you look at the video, they were arguing for a minute. And we all know black women can't ever not try to argue a grown-ass man down. Shout out to the Green Gorilla, the G with the PhD. He just said and just had a show about intimate partner violence. There was enough time for that woman to leave. But because of the spirit of black women, and you can't tell me what to do, ism, she put herself in a dangerous situation. And shout out to Electrician 480 for not only the super chat, but also the giving me this article. You could have got yourself out there and said, you know what? I'm gone. This guy is being an asshole. If you got enough time to text your son, you have enough time to get the fuck out of there. He wasn't blocking the door. You could have just walked. But no. You thought that you can out-argue and do what you want. That's what it was. If your son did not have that gun on his person, would you have reacted like that? That's another thing I gotta ask. If she knew the son had the gun, would she have reacted like that if he didn't have the gun on his person? See, remember this thing Dr. T talk about, proxy violence? Someone doing violence on your behalf? Am I condoning the man hitting her? No. But I'm going to tell you, for any female listeners and detractors, Why do you constantly put yourselves in a realm of danger? Why? Hold on, folks. Sorry about that. I'm back. I got another show to show some debauchery in Baltimore, of course. But would she have reacted if she didn't know if her son had the gun on? Instead of walking out there like a responsible adult, grab one of the bottles. Where's the lighter? See? Gotta grab my cigar right here. You have your son in the car. Why? Why is it that you're gonna put yourself and your son potentially in a very dangerous situation? I'm different said, I've always felt I don't feel like I belong in the community. Other than sports and military, I have no common interest other than the struggle, to be honest. Many of us do feel like that. So if she knew her son had the gun, then it's intentional. See? Stop using your brain. Compassion and Callous states, I'm from Chicago. I never argue with a motherfucker in line at a restaurant with my son in the fucking car. I promise I'll leave. Just avoid any of this type of shit. I'm sorry. There's no fucking way in God's green earth that you come up here and tell me that she was right. Let me get my lighter, folks. I can't find my lighter. I'm a cook. What's a good show? Now we can light the cigar, just like I'm gonna light this fucking YouTube stream up. How the hell do you get charges dropped when you initially called your son instead of evacuating from the situation that was getting hostile? See, this is how the law is supposed to act. It's supposed to be equal among peoples, right? So why isn't it that if the reverse was done, if she was striking him, people would tell him not to hit her back? There are people who will logically tell him not to hit her back. But because she knew her son had a blicky on him, as they call it, had the gap, you called your 14-year-old son to enact violence on your behalf. I want you to truly think about that. You had your son have to go out and invoke violence on your behalf to protect you. I have nothing against young men protecting their mothers, their sisters, their grandmothers, their female cousins. What I do have as a offense is to do it wantonly and stupidly. If your mother respected you so much, she would have never put herself in that predicament in the first place. Can I get an amen and some shots in the chat? Don't forget to hit that super chat, folks. Don't forget to hit that cash app, folks. We sipping and we cooking tonight. I'm just a man of logic. See, my father would always tell me, your ass wouldn't be in trouble if you stayed the fuck out of trouble or stayed the fuck away from trouble. But because she knew that she had an enforcer, because she knew she had an enforcer, she thought it was copacetic to stand there and argue with a grown-ass man. And this is what, people will come to the Black Manosphere and say, I don't protect women. I'm going to give the most protective speech to women right now. Don't you argue your black ass with no fucking grown-ass man. If I can assault you easily with, pour a little bit more of this brown in here, you know. If I can assault you with my bare hands, maim you with my bare hands, and kill you with my bare hands, why the fuck would you sit there and think it's cool to argue with him? And then his girlfriend is there? And then you urge your son to shoot the girlfriend as well? See, this is a travesty of justice all around. Yeah, she was struck and knocked down. Okay. If the boy would have hit him upside his head, shot him or whatever, okay, I'm cool with that. But then you go outside to chase him and attempt to shoot him in the back again, which you most likely was successful for because he was shot twice. Now, you even wanted to carry out violence to the motherfucker. She should have been charged. They should have been charged for pointing the gun at the woman as well. But because black women can do no wrong in society and they got to deal with these heathen-ass, unsavory, sex-craved Negroes, she can walk away from murder. You know what you just told the world? That black women have carte blanche on the lives of black men. Excuse me. Past that shit. But anyway. For Mr. Green, I have to say this to you. You know why men didn't step up? You know why? You lived in Chicago. What happens when a man interjects himself into an issue with a man and a woman. What happens? They'll turn on that man and woman. That was an older guy in them thing. Why should he have to defend that lady? If the lady had any common sense, she'd. Let me ask you this question. How many Asian women would have stood toe to toe arguing with that bitch? Excuse me, with that nigga. The average white woman would have left that scene so quick and called the police. This is the reason why I don't agree with the prosecutor's office. Because if she had time to call, if she had time to text her son to come here and bring the gun, then you had time to leave. Now, you put your 14-year-old son in a predicament that no 14-year-old should ever have to be in. Now, we're going to let her off the hook for a discussion and a situation where it was highly preventable. Once the man left out the store, when he was shot, you didn't have to chase and shoot him again. I'm not an expert in matters of criminality and law enforcement, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Hotel Express. And I kind of am an expert in a little bit, little bit. You cannot tell me that she was imminent danger until that man struck her. And this is what nobody ever says. How much time does she have to react? And this is Chicago, out of all places, man. Chicago. By the way, cheers. Cigar of the day, San Cristobal. Yes, he was shot in the back initially, then shot again in the back after he left the store. Torenzo. What makes it really messed up is that how many other cases in Chicago, when two people got in an argument, one gets hit in the struck in the face, the other guy, his friend comes out the car and retaliate. How many of them motherfuckers go to jail? In Chicago. How many? I'll wait. How many? Baltimore, Dade County, Miami, New York, Philly, LA. Give me all these places and tell me how many of these people are arrested, then convicted of manslaughter, second degree, or first degree murder if it was 3 men involved. How many? Detroit? Houston? How many? They're quick to call that gang violence. They're quick to call it black on black crime. I'm waiting for somebody. I know a detractor's going to come up. Shatterstar Games, what's up, bro? He said if you shoot a man while fleeing in the back, it's manslaughter, at least in Texas. I have nothing wrong to say about the initial shooting, the initial shot. But the shots after, I have a problem with. I have a problem before and after the first shooting. There's too many of us who are being brought up into these fucking situations. And yes, Illinois is not stand your ground law. Yes, few laws were broken. But now you gave people carte blanche to use this fucking precedence that's been started to say this person was arguing with me, and I called my son, I called my boys, I called my man to come settle and regulate the situation. Here's my absolute question for you all in the chat. If that was a black man in that same situation, and he was being struck in the face by another man and his son shot, what do you think would happen? Shout out to Torenzo. I stopped from being that 15-year-old kid, that kid at 15 versus my father. My mother have not stopped me. I wouldn't be here right now. His charges were dropped, yet I became a Marine to figure out my dad. It's mine. R.I.P. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you didn't push that button. Nobody ever talks about the mental state of a 14-year-old after he took a life, regardless if it was justified or not. He has to live with that shit for the rest of his life. Notice you didn't hear one motherfucker on any channel make that statement right there. Nobody gave a damn. Not one. Nobody said, how's this boy going to do mentally? How is he going to proceed with the rest of his life mentally after taking a life? Yeah, of course. Only probably the Crimson Cure. Anybody else? Nope. That was first-degree murder, a gun without using consent properly, undisciplined shooting. Plus, I heard the gun. Yes, the gun was unregistered. Why did a 14-year-old have such easy access to a gun? If she's a licensed concealed carry permit holder, why wasn't the gun on her person? I'm not upset about protecting your mom. I'm upset about mom not putting her son in such a fucking dangerous predicament. What if the guy would have had a gun? Nobody ever said that. What if the gun jammed and he started attacking? Of course, we're going to have these silly bitches, Cynthia G and Paris Milan, celebrating this man's death. Where was her man? Where was the boy's father? Where? Of course, we're going to get these silly bitches to talk about celebrating and proclaiming this is Black Female Freedom Day. People are making a mockery out of it now, saying he came for a burger and left with an angel. Wings. They're laughing about it. See, this also tells you black men death is comical. It could be made into a hilarious skit. Why? Why put yourself in a dumbass situation, a dangerous ass situation, arguing, going back and forth with a man? All my female friends get upset with me when I said black women can become liabilities to their men. Do I think it's all? No, but it's the goddamn majority. An elegant, smart thinking black woman who has her son in that car would have been like, you know what, you're right, I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. She would have exited stage left. There is no reason why you should go to a goddamn polar bear in the Arctic and slap him in the face. There's no concept of logical thinking. You should go to the savannah and kick a lion in the balls. You should not go to your neighborhood dog owner and look at his German Shepherd, his Rottweiler, or his Pit Bull and go snatch their favorite food or bone away. Even my house cat, if you do something to it, it will defend itself. Well, I don't even like calling him. If you do something to Machu Picchu, he will try his best to fuck you up. He will do his best to fuck you up or die trying. So why do we have this need to stand there and argue with grown men? Exit stage left. Protect yourself at all times. No one ever asks, why did that boy have the gun in the first place? If that was my people, the first shot I would have take it, but watching him run my peoples down and shoot him some more, he's a man now. What the hell? Apparently she's suing the city. What the fuck can she sue the city for? I want you to think about this. You walk into a store, which anybody who's from an inner city knows you don't stand in that store. You just make your order, you step the fuck out of it. When the food's ready, you go back in, grab your food, and get the fuck out. I'm not trying to talk to nobody. I'm not trying to speak to no one. I'm not even trying to be rude. Because usually those hole in the wall spots are great spots for you to get robbed or assaulted. Exhibit A. No one ever talks about how you made your 14-year-old son a target now. No one ever wants to talk about these things. Well, Mr. Judge, you got to understand. You got to understand. Why do I have to understand? I have a 15-year-old. I have nothing wrong with the boy shooting the first time to get the man off his mom. I have nothing wrong with the 14-year-old shooting because of his exigent circumstances. But to go chase and hunt the man down to finish the job, and your mom rooting you on to finish the job, I can't go for that. I can't. Now, you're going to see a lot of mothers who are going to date certain types of men they shouldn't have been dating and expecting their sons to pull up. And then you have a unregistered gun in the hands of the book. See, Chicago is the way it is now because of them lousy ass politics. It's no different from these Democratic strongholds throughout the United States. If you notice, when you have heavy Democratic rule, you have chaotic government. You have people killing each other indiscriminately. You can argue with a person all you like, just to know she's going to text her son to come in there and finish the job instead of leaving. This is the reason why black men do not believe in the system. Because if that was a black man, they would have put his ass under the jail. and then you left the scene. Yep, prosecutor black woman, Kim Fox. What a shock. Drop the charges on Juicy Smollett. See, this is the reason why crime goes unchecked, because it goes unpunished. And I will tell you this first, from a man who spent 10 years of military service and nearly 15 with the Baltimore Police Department and has his own security firm. I will tell you, if the boy would have shot him and the guy ran off, that boy would have been absolutely, in my book, I would defend all that. But once you go outside hunting the man down, instead of checking to make sure your mother's okay and calling the police, then call your lawyer. And then here's the evil. You wanted to shoot the girlfriend because she was part of the argument too. Not because she assaulted you, because she was part of the argument. Because y'all didn't have friendly discourse. Make that shit make sense, please. Please. I beg of you. Somewhere out there. Thank you, AJC in reality. It's funny how the mother says she was brutalized but didn't go to the police or the hospital after the incident. When you want to talk about some suspicious bullshit, oop, there it is. People think I have, you want black mothers to be unprotected. No, and no. But here's the funniest part about the conversation at hand. Why, oh, why, oh, why would you not leave? You wanted to stand there. You wanted to provocate. You wanted to argue this man down. And the only reason you did it, because you knew your son had a gun in his possession. Only reason. That's the evil about it. Yes, the son could not legally have a firearm in his possession. Yes, he had the right to defend his mother. But after that first shot, they were wrong. They were wrong as shit. They were wrong. There's no heroism. They were fucking wrong. I get tired of people trying to make stupidity right, bad behavior correct. Hit the Cash App, hit the Super Chat, please, if you feel as though you're getting something out of this content. Support black male media. I'm one of those people who believe the law should be fair for people. But was this fair? The first shot was justified. Now, he was running to go get a weapon. Okay. But he wasn't. He was trying to flee the scene. Was he wrong for touching that woman? Yes. Very wrong. Should have got his ass whooped. Don't touch people unless you touch them. But at the same time, I warn a lot of women, especially black women, don't go arguing with no grown ass man who could kill you with his bare hands. I'm that superwoman bullshit should go right out the window. It should go right out the window. What excuse can you make past the first shot? You really can't. But see, this is the reason why I've said it. You have to be very cognizant of what situation you're putting yourself and your child in. There are some reports that say she said while arguing, "I'll kill you, nigga." So she knew there was premeditated motive. Hit the Cash App, hit the link, man. I'm about to open this up for a little bit. I know Art New Style might be doing a show tonight. Most likely, this is one of his time slots. Anybody who want to come in? Anybody who needs to reach me by email, it's right there in the ticker. There's the PayPal. There's the Cash App. What's up, Snowman?
What's going on, Dr. Charles?
Hey, what's up? Shout out to Electrician for 480, another one of the faithful. I'm not mad at the kid. However, those charges being dropped, this will quantify bad behavior at an all-time high. Facts.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? When the 80s, I've always said this and I will continue to say this, when the 80s turned into the 90s, the turn began to happen. And it wasn't a good one. And fuck the turn of the century. When the 80s turned into the 90s, that's when the turn really began to happen. And I said earlier in the chat, I'm glad I got the hell out of Chicago when I did. And I've only been back since 2014, when I left for good. I've only been back once, and that is when my mother passed away. That's the only time I've been back. We were supposed to go on vacation, but we decided not to. And I'm tempted to pull my application to do the HBCU Classic at Soldier Field, just for that, just for protecting my wife alone.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is.
And shout out to AJC of Reality. Salute. Keep speaking the truth, brother.
What's up, AJ?
We're joined by my man's AB Media 83 and Gavin. All together now. 1, 2, 3.
Woo!
Ooh.
Woo! What's your takes on this, fellas?
Where
Well,
do we
my
start?
take is, where do you start? First of all, I firmly disagree with that dude. If you watch that video, there was really not enough time to react because after that second, after he hit it the second time, he started shooting.
Yeah.
There's not enough time for another dude to react when we look at that video.
Yeah.
Agreed with that.
Also, I agree with another brother I heard on TikTok. She need to get out of town
Mm-hmm.
because
She ain't,
that
she
dude
ain't
had.
getting out of town. I know she needs to get out of town, but AB, you and I both know she ain't getting out of town.
Yeah. Also, I have to point something out. If you look at that mugshot, I'm sorry, that is a hard ass 35.
Man,
I know
I'm
50-year-old.
How
I know,
old?
and that's a compliment to black women. Actually, I know 50-year-olds that look way better than her.
I know 40 and 50-year-old women who look younger and more pristine than she is.
Yeah,
One more time. How old?
she's 35. She
I
looks
want, you,
like
I want you to put this in perspective. I'm a 41-year-old guy,
Mm-hmm.
and she looks harder than me.
yeah.
I'll be 51 in a few weeks. Got done beating blood clots and beating cancer, and she looks harder than my ass.
Man,
Yeah.
she looks harder than. I mean, that chick
I
face
mean,
looks harder than.
she
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 looked
looks
harder.
harder than Ray. She looks harder than Ray Lewis's helmet after that block at the end of the first half.
She looks harder than fucking Project Steps.
Pow! Right there.
Okay, here's the
She.
cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I just got home from work, guys. So I just logged on, into the program,
What's
and I
up,
want to make sure I
Gavin?
don't. Hey, how you doing, man?
Hope you had a good day at work.
Ugh, rough day, but that's gonna be another topic.
Say no more. Say no
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Say no more. Say no more.
Woo!
My second day back from vacation, and it's been a whirlwind.
Where you at?
Oh, I work from home doing
Okay.
broadcast. I work from home
Okay.
doing broadcasting, but I also take care of the house while my
Nice.
wife recovers from
I'm going to hit
ADHD.
you up with some advice on how to do that. But all right. So I heard about it from a friend of mine who sent me the notation and a little article, and I looked it up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going over stuff that you guys may have talked about, but one, she's 35, 14-year-old. I understand she had a license for the gun. What? It was in the car, and the boy comes out with it, shoots the guy. He runs. After that, he's no longer. At least that's how I've been trained here. I do security in California. The person ran away from you. They're no longer a threat, and you're not a cop. This is what they do. This is California. They train us as security officers who are armed.
Mm-hmm.
They ran after him, let the boy shoot him 2 more times from the mom's, encouragement. And also, from what I'm understanding, there was a female witness who was kind of encouraging, hyping up the thing. She turns around and tells the boy, go ahead and do her.
Oh, yeah. Lord.
How is it that Chicago court system, the attorney general, city attorney for Chicago and Chicago PD, excuse me, dropped the charges on what?
I lived in Chicago, and I wish I could give you an answer.
Here's my shit. My man Marcus said, I don't think he had a legal right to shoot the first time. 3 punches don't make a life-threatening situation. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. Because, one, if I hit a female, I mean, full power in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've hit
That's-
men. I've hit men and crack orbital bones. You're talking about a smaller, thinner bones,
Mm-hmm.
not as much denser muscle,
Right.
and I'm hitting.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Let's take over the show. I'll hit you. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Gavin,
Yeah.
where do you live, buddy?
I live in Los Angeles.
Oh.
Well, you're up there with
Yeah.
BS.
I
Okay.
have a sports question for you. BU Rams or BU Raiders? Los Angeles Raiders, that is.
Okay, here's the cold thing. I live in Los Angeles, but I'm not from Los Angeles. I moved out here years ago. I'm a New Yorker, born and raised. Born in Brooklyn,
hear
bred
it.
in Harlem.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
I can hear it now. Okay, then I'll switch my question. BU Giants or BU Jets?
I'm 53. I haven't been a Giants or Jets fan from way back in the day when we had Broadway Joe Namath.
Ah. So in other words, you've been suffering without a Super Bowl title since Super Bowl III.
Amen. And when I grew up, as a kid growing up, now I'm 53, so that means I was born in 1970.
Right.
My team that I used to ride with back in the day was a team called the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lynn Swan, Terry
John
Bradshaw,
Stallworth.
Franco Harris.
John Stallworth.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the list goes on and on. That was the team that, you know, and now back in the day, baseball was the Yankees with Cat Vachon,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. October, Reggie Jackson, Billy Martin, who didn't take shit,
Billy, my
especially
favorite
from George.
Willie Randolph, the steady second baseman. Greg Nettles.
Yes, please.
Goose Gossage.
Oh,
one of the best relief pitchers to ever do it.
Yes.
Who threw sidearm and fell off the left side of the mound.
What the Bulls were in the 90s in basketball, that was the New York Yankees back then in the 70s.
And that's what the 49ers were in the 80s.
Hello.
And I got the 49ers are my team, and my two-word reason, Joe Montana.
Okay.
But about this case, I'm just now finding out about it. As I said, I've been on vacation for the past week.
Well, it's fresh. It just happened like 2 days ago, give or take, 2 or 3 days ago. So it's just pretty new.
3 days ago, I was driving back. We were driving back from Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we had a ball. Where we had an absolute ball.
Mm-hmm.
My wife just turned 51, and she's fucking gorgeous.
Yes.
This woman's 35.
Yes.
My wife makes her look. Nah, speak ye the truth and shame the devil, Brian. My wife makes this woman look like total shit.
But she a hood chick.
And my
you
wife
saw the bonnet in the video. You saw the bonnet. Come on.
Yeah, my wife is 51, never wears makeup, and I couldn't be happier. Let me put it this way, Gavin. I got sick and tired of being how I was treated by black women. So in 2010, I got the hell out and stay out. If you catch my drift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is your wife Filipina, Asian, or Latina?
She's a straight Caucasian, 9th generation Hoosier.
Okay. I ain't mad at you.
And treats me like the king that I am.
Yes.
Let me ask y'all a question, because I'm going to throw a curveball here.
Go ahead.
With what I've been through in the past 2 years, I've had blood clots in both my lungs, and I just kicked pancreatic cancer in the ass. How many black women would have stood by me?
None.
Say it again. Let me hear it again.
None.
N-O-N-E.
None.
Thank you.
But
And
also,
y'all,
I got
and
to
y'all
point
wonder
something.
why I got the and y'all wonder why I got the hell out and stayed out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I got to point something out about this case.
Please do.
Notice you have a son. Any of y'all have sons?
Yes.
I just have a simple question. Did any of y'all raise your sons to hit women the way that dude hit that woman?
Not no, but hell no. As a friend of mine would say, not no, but hell no. I mean, granted, I've only had my son 4 years because he's officially my stepson, but I don't call him my stepson. I call him my son.
If you look at how he was behaving, didn't he look like a raging woman? Look like a raging woman.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Now, here's the thing about that. Ouch! Is that me with the feedback or somebody else?
That's somebody else, I think.
That's somebody else.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not justifying him hitting her, but I'm just an observation.
No, no justification whatsoever. None.
Okay, it's hard for me because here's how I was raised back in the day. And this is how word for word was taught to me, actually by an elder who was a female.
Okay.
All right. This is what she said, and this is the two things she said, and it's weird how she said it to me. And not only just me, but it was summertime. I was a little boy. Remember, I was born in 1970.
Right.
And in 1977, I'll never forget this moment. It's like a defining moment for me. The summer of 77, me and my boys were my friends were just hanging out, yada, 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 with the woo.
Right.
And of course, 77. Think about that. The following year would have been the 10th anniversary of when they killed Dr. King.
Yes.
So this elder, who's a female and looked like a grandmother, like she's talking, to the other women. Like I said, from New York, we're on the stoop by the brownstone I grew up in. We're all running down the street, having fun.
Right.
We're coming in because we're thirsty now. We're trying to get some juice or whatever, yada yada. And the elders, along with my mom, they're having this conversation. And it's coming along about Dr. King, yada yada, woo. Two things she said to us, and she decided to let us boys know, because we're all boys. One, don't let what they think of you be true. They got it in for you.
Yep.
And we knew she meant black men, black boys. You got people who care for you. Around there is a library, educated black folk. Take it, make use of it. Because next year will be the 10th year they killed somebody that looked like you. Who they added him for. Then further on, when the subject changed, she said this. A lady never gives a gentleman cause to put hands on her.
In the immortal words of my radio partner on my morning show, no lie to be found.
Yep.
And one of my friends asked the elder, yeah, we know, we got that, we've heard that, a man don't got a right to hit a woman. Boom, she cut him off and said, no, I did not say that.
Oh,
yes, ma'am, you just did. No,
repeat
I
that
said,
again for those of us in the repeat that again for those of us in the cheap seats at Old Shea Stadium.
I'm about to. She said to my friend, and my friend Ernie, he made no disrespect. He said, "Yes, ma'am, you just said that." No, I said a lady never gives a gentleman pause to put hands on her.
Repeating my
that
sentence.
No lady in that video. The 35-year-old. Look at her mugshot. Excuse me.
No lie to be found. I'll say it again. No lie to be found.
Yeah, that sister.
I said that the correct way. No lie to be found.
Yeah, she looked pretty rough. She did look pretty rough.
The only time my Jody puts hands on me is to wrap me up in an embrace and frame my face with her hands while she kisses me when she comes home from work.
Thank you. And another thing.
That's it. I mean, look, Jody can hang with the best of them, okay? Jody can hang with the best of them, but she is the gentlest woman I've ever been with. And I mean that from an attitude standpoint. I mean that from a physical standpoint and being with me. And she told me so many times over the course of our trip, we would just be talking. And that's one of the biggest problems in the black community. For those of y'all in the cheap seats at the old Hoosier Dome, lack of communication. Oops, did I say that aloud?
Not only that,
Hoosier Dome.
but I'm
See,
gonna say
you
one
brought
more thing, and I'm gonna let the rest of the panel, and others get in because I see some others just join.
Yeah.
All right, I live in LA. I
Mhm.
do security. At my post, I'm at a post in Brentwood.
Right.
Yeah, OJ Brentwood.
Say no more.
Okay. Now, at the post I'm at,
Mm-hmm.
There's law firms, real estate companies, investment firms, the whole nine.
Right.
So there are, sisters that work up in there in the various firms or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pass you by. They may or may not say hi, whatever. Hey, I'm used to it. Why is it? And it's interesting. But one woman who always says, "Hi, Gavin, how you doing today?"
Mm-hmm.
is an Asian MILF who's married and is a real estate broker specialist. Said to Gavin, "Here, this is my card. Do you realize there are like different programs that I'm trying to get people introduced so that they can become first-time home buyers?"
I have a seven-letter reason for you, Gavin.
Go.
And Aretha Franklin spelled it best. RESPECT. Period.
Okay. Thank you.
Because I lived in LaPorte, Indiana for 2.5 years. And all I have to tell you is that I stuck out like a sore thumb. I lived in
Yeah,
LaPorte,
6'5",
Indiana.
yeah.
I lived in LaPorte and I lived in Michigan City. And my bald head ass stuck out like a sore thumb in LaPorte, Indiana. Why is it that when businesses approached me when I was covering LaPorte High School and I was getting the word around about needing sponsors for my broadcast, I got approached the same way you did, G. I got approached the same way you did, G, man.
Wow.
And the bad part is and here's, you want the kicker? Give you two of them. Here's your punt. Was dating a white woman at the time, and here's the extra point. I brought in more sales than she did, and I trusted her to do my sales.
Whoa.
She tried throwing me a curveball by signing my name for a baseball sponsor whom I contacted well before she did. And I'm suing her punk ass because that's something we like to call fraud.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got GSC. I got treated the same way that you did. You think I didn't get the side eye from any black woman that lived in LaPorte, Indiana?
Oh, brother.
Or New
Prairie.
Or New Prairie? Because I did games in LaPorte and New Prairie the entire 2015-2016 season. And to repeat your question, why did women business owners approach me the same way that you got approached on your post?
They see you hold yourself to a level of respect, and that draws them to you.
Mm-hmm. And here's the my wife jokes with me. My wife jokes with me all the time, about not being able to take me anywhere because I always make a friend because I'm always talking to somebody when I'm out. My wife makes that joke with me all the time. Here's the reality of it, and she said this to me. Jody said this to me. It's like like you said, it's just the way I carry myself. Because I've asked her several hundred times over, why is it that when people see me, they either bob their head in recognition, or they come up and shake my hand, or they speak to me, man and woman.
Yes.
Now it's like it happens to me. It happens to Jody. Jody jokes with me all the time, but do I even have to? And AB, you know this. You've hung with me. Charles has hung out with me, and Electrician 480. You know this especially. And I want to thank Electrician 480 to borrow from Charles for being one of the faithful few to my cause.
Mm-hmm.
No problem, brother. Anytime.
You want to know? You want to know how many side eyes I've gotten since we moved back to Indiana?
Whoa!
Mm-hmm.
The reason
What
we
part of
had to
Indiana
move,
you got? Terre Haute or Indianapolis?
let me explain. We lived in North Carolina for a couple of years, and I ain't got to tell you the side eyes I got there. And I got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Yeah, Duke told my wife to get her affairs in order, that the tumor I had was inoperable. Wife extraordinaire said, fuck that shit. She told me, I know you love North Carolina, but I got to get some help. I got to get some support. So we got to move back to Indiana. I didn't raise an argument. So we moved back here. We're in in a little city that's 90 minutes to the north is Indianapolis. 90 minutes to the south is Louisville.
Go
I'm in a
southern in
very
Indiana.
Yep, I'm in a very small town. So, Gavin, I hope that answers your question of where I am.
I'll say this for the people in the back.
and Romello, I've done games at Demery Stadium in Maryville. In fact, that's the first night where Jody came to pick me up. But when we moved back here to Indiana, she worked to get us health care. She got insurance, I beg your pardon, so I could get health care. And the oncologist that I met said, let me make a phone call. And he made a phone call to Dr. Attila Nakib, and bless his heart, he performed the surgery April 4th of last year. And here I stand today. So that's the second time my wife rode to the rescue by putting all that in motion. You want to talk? And y'all mentioned that the lady in this case was a hard 35.
Mm-hmm.
Let me explain 4 versions of a hard 35 with this. The first night that we got to North Carolina and Jody and I had a chance to go out and let the daughter get settled in our new place, went to Denny's because it was the closest place to us and we were just getting used to the area.
My condolences.
Yeah, we say that. Listen, Jody and I say that to each other a lot now. But we went there and we were just sitting there having dinner and just cracking up, having a good time. Then Jody went to pay the bill, and 4 black women with weave down to their ass walked in. Do I need to say anything else?
You got the evil eye.
I got to hear the rest.
I went to the restroom. I came back. They walked in. Yeah. They walked in, they saw Jody get up to pay the bill, and they looked right at my ass.
Okay.
Now we're gonna play a little game, and I do this often, and I'm gonna get my sounds up here in a moment. I will give y'all a guess at what they thought when they saw me, 6'5" black man, married to a white woman who's a foot shorter than me, and we're having fun. Go.
Okay, before I even answer, what does your wife look like? Does she have long blonde hair?
No.
What color's her hair?
Well, it's partially gray now, but it's brown. It's auburn.
Okay, so back then when that happened, it was brown. Is it long or short?
Well, it was long for a while when we were in North Carolina.
But when the 4 black women walked in, or 5, was it long at that time?
Yes.
What color is her eyes?
What color is her eyes?
Your wife, yeah.
Blue.
Ooh. Damn, no woman. You made out there alive? Now, think about it. How many black women was it? 4 or 5?
4.
4.
Mm-hmm.
They all walk in.
Yep.
They
At the
see
same
the
time.
white woman with you get up. She got brown hair, kind of
Yep.
long. It's
Uh-huh.
naturally long. It's not weave that she
It's
bought at a store.
very natural.
And she got blue eyes.
Uh-huh.
Now, I really got to ask, is
Go
it
for it.
the deep blue or the light grayish blue kind?
Grayish blue.
Oh! Damn! That was on the panel. Y'all hear this?
Wait
And
a
he
minute.
out alive?
Let me play this.
No.
God, you can't make this shit up.
Now again, I'll pose a question and all answers are welcome. What do you think went through their heads? What responses do you think went through their heads?
Before I answer that question, I gotta ask.
Snowman.
Yes.
Snowman, yes, Snowman, check this out, man. You already know the answer to that. Man, listen, those eyes said that they could quarter you, hang you up by your scrotum, burn you, put some water out on you and burn you again. Man, come on, bro. You already know.
Why do you think I had an open-ended question like that, electrician?
Oh,
Man,
I'm gonna have some
you
more fun.
already know, bro. You already know.
Listen,
I gotta have some more
Man,
fun.
come on.
listen, we just celebrated our 4th anniversary.
Congrats.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
We laugh every single time at those situations. To answer someone posed Gavin, I think it was you that posed the question of where we first lived. To answer your question, Terre Haute, Indiana.
Okay. All right.
And she taught at Indiana State University.
Ooh.
She was a professor there for a while.
Ooh. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Wait. Let me give you the bell. See?
Mm-hmm.
And for electrician, with everything that they thought when we were in Denny's, they also thought
Finish him.
Yes.
Pretty much that too.
they were all right. Let me go Street Fighter. They were thinking as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Along with a few and some, and of course, about 200 times. And of course the main sentence they were thinking, look at this nigga with that white woman.
Oh, well, I gotta ask.
True or false?
Yes.
Oh, very
hold
true.
on. I gotta ask because I'm curious. The
Go for
4 black women. Was any of them at least slim? That pause speaks volumes.
Here's your answer in 2 words. Stephen A., take it away.
Hell no.
So
they walked in, looked at
Yeah.
Jody, looked at me, and my brain immediately thought,
So you telling me you had 4 heifers? Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
No. You said it right.
And you have the nerve, you black man, to be up here with a white woman that's slim, make half the size of the skinniest one of us, excuse me, need too long hair, and gray blue eyes, and she walking from you happy as a lark and about to pay you food.
Except for the slim part, because my wife has had children before I came into her life.
Yes, and
yes.
Okay.
And a matter of fact, the look I gave him in return when Joni and I were walking out, hand in hand, by the way,
Yeah.
was
I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
But now,
yes, sir.
your
Yes, sir.
wife at that time, compared to the smallest one of them, was there any comparison?
What's the question again?
your wife at that time in the
Yes.
restaurant
Mm-hmm.
compared to the smallest one of them,
Mm-hmm.
still no comparison. I'm talking body wise and
Oh,
figure.
yep.
Okay.
In fact, take a look at one of them, and all you think is,
It is stinky.
I can imagine.
y'all don't want to know about the manager.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay. Then I use the immortal words of the late great Rod Bramlett, voice of Auburn.
I think I just broke my chair.
That answer your question?
Yes. Mm.
And wait a minute. While I'm thinking about it, let me throw a little joker in here. They walked in, looked at Jody, looked at me, and my mind immediately thought,
And here we go.
At
Is that
least
it?
you never had one of them as your supervisor.
Wanna bet?
You ain't topping mine, so don't even try.
When we worked at Amazon in Durham, North Carolina,
Yes.
let me borrow a popular phrase. When Jody, Sonia, my daughter, and I all worked at Amazon warehouse in Durham, North Carolina,
Yes.
one of our first supervisors was a hair-hatted hooligan.
Mm.
Yeah, she didn't like us. For the
Mm-hmm.
simplest of reasons, we were told, and I put that word in quotes, not to fraternize. I looked at that rule and flipped it off
Mm-hmm.
because I would be on one line, my wife would be on the other, and when I wasn't feeling all that great, I would just look for my wife,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd get that second win and get through the day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one day this hair-hatted hooligan, who didn't like either of us,
Mm-hmm.
saw me go over to my wife's line, lean over the line, and kiss her.
Gosh.
I will stop. I will pause there.
Ain't love grand. Did she try and write you up for sexual harassment?
Like I said, I will pause there.
Whoa.
See, I turn around, I go back to my line, and I'm skipping, okay, because I feel good. I had a moment with my wife.
Yeah.
Fuck all the rest of y'all. I had a moment with my wife. I'm feeling great. This hair-hatted hooligan of a supervisor yanked me aside and goes, "What do you think you're doing? Kissing my wife, perhaps?" Yeah, dropped her mouth, and I went back to work.
But you know, Snowman,
Yo.
you know one of the things that as I'm listening to you talking, and as we were talking about what was going on in your old hometown and
Yes.
everything,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of brothers who are out here who are working anywhere from 58, 60, 72, hell, even 84 hours a week,
Yep.
and they see these type of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going to jump fences. I mean, because what does it look like for me to get with a woman, right?
Right.
And you got your 17, your 18 or 19-year-old son, and let's just say, for the sake of argument, we just get into an argument or something that you didn't agree what I said or what I did. If it long, nothing physical or anything.
Yeah.
And then we get into an argument, and you call them over to my place or your place or whatever. How much do you understand the danger you in?
Oh, yeah.
It's just becoming. It's such. And what I think, what I was saying and I put in a super chat was basically this type of behavior is going to be at an all-time high. You're going to have young kids, young black boys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Forget having, them being a big stepper out here in the streets.
Right.
Man, you find out you get in an argument with their mama. They ready to, man, they ready to turn your lights off for real.
Hey, fam.
You ain't got to tell me twice.
Hey, that's what I wanted to talk on, because I was reading the comments about the situation, right? Just on the comments, just strictly the comments on TikTok. When I say every black woman was like, that's right, I want my son to be just like that. I want my son to do the same thing. That's right. I want my son to do the same thing. He showed right. He showed right. I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. You gonna show son, your 14-year-old son, to potentially go to jail for the rest of their life, to potentially take another man's life, to like, just to add on the problem.
Preach on.
Really?
But the thing about it, but here's the thing about it though. Here's the thing about it. Let's say you got a guy who works, like I say, he's working every day. He gets with a woman who's a single mom.
Right.
Or it could be any of us, right?
Right.
And you get into because the reason why I'm saying this, because I know this. I cannot. I got so many receipts from. Look. I had an apartment one time, and I invited my girlfriend at the time, who I went to high school with, another friend of ours who went to high school with us, and he brought his girlfriend over.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there, and I'm cooking dinner for my people. And I'm in my small little kitchen in my apartment.
Yeah.
And this is when cell phones just came out. I have my cell phone.
Yep. Just took off.
This young lady that I was dating at the time thought that I was out stepping out on her. And she saw a number from one of my customers that I have that I was doing work for, saw her number, got in, some folks some people, how they react or how they emotionally may not say nothing, but you can see it all in their face and how, their body language that something ain't right.
Been there.
And and so anyway, as this was happening, she picked up a knife. My back is turned. She literally picked up a knife. My partner's girlfriend screaming. I would have, man, that'd have been straight up either in my kidney, and that'd have been fatality right there.
Oh.
But make a long story short, I grabbed her by her wrist, and she's still trying to plunge. And I hate to say this, but I dislocated her wrist in two different places. Now she called her sister to pick her up. Her sister came and picked her up. The following day, her father came by my apartment unit. And he literally was like, "Bring your punk ass out, this, that, and the third." And I said, I opened my door, and as I was trying to come out, he was trying to come in. Now at this time, I'm washing dishes. So he comes charging in my house, and I backed up with just a touch, just enough for me to crack him upside the head with that 10-inch iron skillet that Grandma used to have.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I cracked him upside his head because he was okay. Now if I had a gun on me, I'd have shot him, and it'd have been justifiable homicide.
Yeah.
But see, when I cracked him upside his head, then I began to explain to him as he was trying to get himself together. Say, listen, your daughter came at me with a knife behind when my back was turned. Okay. And you crashed, and you're doing you could have been dead on the spot. If I had my 38 or whatever the case may be, you would have been dead. Okay, that's incident number one. Incident number two happened in 2017. Me and a young
Oh,
lady.
oh boy.
Yeah, me and a young lady. We're talking. We have a
Mhm.
little bit of a disagreement, little heated conversation, but wasn't nothing crazy. And she
Right,
says to
right.
Can
me,
I
"Go ahead,
can I
bro.
ask what race is this? Is
No, no, these all black women.
this okay? Gotcha.
Okay, these all black women right
A
here in the
little
city
white,
of Detroit
little,
or Detroit, as we say it.
a little White Sox call for you. A swing and a smash. Canard going 9. He has a one
Yeah,
coming to his right. Flips to Hernandez for the out. A sensational play.
this. Oh, I'm
Oh,
trying to tell you. The
yeah.
second incident was
Mm-hmm.
me and her. She didn't like what I was saying. We were talking about politics. I told her, I said, your reason of politics is going to ruin this country. I can't stand you. I wish somebody would come over here and beat your ass. That's what she said to me. Now, mind you,
Man, Anthony Davis. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
no, you're good. Mind you, I'm the one. You didn't have a toilet in your house. You didn't have You didn't have running water until I came into the picture. You didn't have a
Mhm.
tub to take a bath. Take your stinking ass to have a bath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I brought you up to a level of some decent respectability. So now I'm just throwing that out there.
Right.
And when she said that, I said, you know what? You bring whoever you got to bring over to defend you on this fuckery you doing. Excuse my French. So she calls her brothers and her cousins.
Mhm.
But see, what little
Here we
did they
go.
all? But little what did they know when they came into the house? They came in. Well, what's going on? I said, I pulled out that 38 and said, ain't not a goddamn thing going on. And I said, if I advise you, if I were you, I would take my ass and get out and get to stepping. Now, if any of y'all think y'all gangster enough to take me while I got this while I got this gun out, I press your luck, partner. Press your luck. And at that time, right then and there, I grabbed everything I had in my possession, got the hell out of there, cut off all the lights because it was all in my name, cut the gas, the cable, go back to the Stone Ages. But do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
She got right. She got so upset with me. And I asked some women about this. I said, why is it that you all sisters, why are you all so willing to say anything about get him, kill him? And y'all, I said, you guys you're not getting it.
Right.
I said, do you must really want to be the Spartan society? She said, what do you mean by that? I said, how many Spartans you know that's around? Because they ran out of men.
Yep.
The men were dying, and let's not forget how they it started from birth. Because remember, they should inspect every newborn male by torchlight, and if they suspected anything, out over the cliff you'll be tossed.
Yeah, that was true.
Yeah.
The thing about it is my whole point of saying that is that a lot of this is the reason why my first wife, well, my ex-wife, I should say, in 2000 I just said I'm not dating none of these sisters no more. I love black women, but I ain't got to date no black woman from the United States with this raggedy, want to hold on to this culture, this raggedy shit, excuse my French, hold on to this culture, a culture filled with baby mamas, women running the stuff, women running the community, and it's raggedy as hell. And the thing about it is, if you thought that, Snowman, if you thought you got the dirty looks, I got the looks of, oh, well, you did marry a black woman, but you ain't marrying none of them. I ain't going to marry none of you niggas. Because for the simple fact is, I've dealt with just too much drama, too many incidents, and I pulled back. Now, the thing about it is, nobody has time for the bullshit.
You know what,
But going back,
Christian, you gonna love me for this. One, you ain't got to worry about your language because one of my favorite comedians was the late great George Carlin. Or I learned the 7 dirty words you can't say on television. Secondly, that incident you just described was the last time I ever dated a black woman.
That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is. Because the thing about it is, especially when you're dealing with, listen, like I said in my, I'm not mad at the kid.
Right.
I think any child
Mhm.
would protect their mother. I truly believe that. Any child, if
Yeah.
he's, get that little umph on him, he's going to try to protect moms.
Yep.
I know I would. I think everybody on this panel would.
Mhm.
But the thing about it, what makes it so egregious, what makes it really egregious,
Mhm.
is that Miss Kim Fox, the prosecutor for Cook County,
Oh gosh.
the thing about it is, we have been, and I know a snowman. I know you probably still keep up with what's going on at home.
Yeah.
I have
do.
seen this woman drop charges on juvenile delinquents, violent juvenile delinquents. When I say violent, I'm talking about young kids as young as 15, 16, 17-year-olds, and they got several bodies on them. I'm talking about, and it just blows my mind. And I'm saying we are in
What race?
it's over, man. It's over. There is no more black community.
The
There is
black
no more
community-
black. Is gone.
As far as I'm concerned, the black community was destroyed in the mid to late 80s when independent attitudes rose at an alarming rate. I didn't catch on at the time. I didn't think about it at the time, but I know now. The independence rose within the 80s, and this is coming from a fellow who lived in Chicago for most of his life. Here's one thing I went through. When I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I was dating a black woman at the time.
Okay.
I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and I was in the hospital for 3 long weeks. You think I heard from her once?
Wait. First of all, before you continue, Sam, man, my question is, how severe was it, and what exactly did they rediscover that had led you being hospitalized? First of all,
2 things. One, my sugar level was through the roof, and 2, my energy level was all the way down to the point where I couldn't move. I didn't feel right at all. I did not feel right. So I checked myself in the hospital.
And you were in there for 3 weeks, so they found out what really was the cause.
Yep, 3 weeks. You want to hear the funniest thing?
Please.
I'll put it in the form of a question. You think I heard from this bitch once?
Nope. It's no different as if you were in lockup. You wouldn't hear from your buddies.
Mm-hmm. In a short sentence, as far as me dating black women goes, that was the last straw. That was 2010. That was the absolute last straw. And here's the funny thing about it. When I finally did get a hold of her, she was cold toward me. As if to say, you went through... Uh-huh. As if to say, you went through all of that and you couldn't call me. Well, I couldn't call you because at the time the hospitals were strict about you having the phone in the goddamn hospital.
Or contacting anybody. Wait, didn't you have any next of kin to contact?
I could only use the phone that was in the room.
No, but I mean, when you were in there, didn't they have like a next of kin to contact just in case?
Yeah, and it was my mom. And I don't have to tell you how that went.
Okay, but it's not gonna go there.
I do not have to tell you how that went.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You had a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
How about showing some concern to your man because he's in the freaking hospital for over 2 days?
He was in there for 3 weeks.
That's what I mean. After 2 days, you don't try and call somebody at the hospital, the doctor, the nurse, let them know, hey, this is my man, this is my dude, this is my boyfriend. How is he? If he has anything, when he's up, when he's awake, let him know I called.
If this were Jody back then, she'd have turned the city of Chicago upside down to find me.
All three of her.
Upside down and inside out.
When are visiting hours? When can I come see him? Yada, 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 yada. None of that? After 2 days. We're not looking at 3 weeks.
No.
This is supposed to be her man. And not even after 2 days, she tried to say leave some kind of mental so that when he wakes up or whenever he's, cognizant, hey, your girlfriend called for it. She's concerned. Boom, 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 boom. He got none of that. Damn.
That's the curveball. Here's the knuckleball. My boss, who appointed me the chief voice of their broadcasting outfit, didn't contact me either. Matter of fact, I called him to let him know what's going on. And this next question to me was, when are you getting out so we can get back to business?
Cold hard son bitch. Excuse my French.
No. That son bitch never heard from me again. I didn't go back to work for him. I'm like, fuck all y'all. When the bitch I was dating did not call me once, didn't try to find me. And Romello, this is for you. I was in Roseland Hospital, and she lived less than 3 miles from Roseland Hospital. How's that for a knuckleball?
She could have walked all the way to the hospital to you, or drove.
Again, how's that for a knuckleball?
Yeah.
I mean, she. I heard nothing. I didn't hear from my mother either. Like I said, I don't have to tell y'all how that went.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have to tell y'all how that argument went. The only person I wanted to see at the time was Pops, and he was gone. He had passed away.
Hey.
That's the only person I wanted to see. Fuck everybody else. When I was in the hospital for congestive heart failure, the only person to come to see me was Pops.
Wait, what?
Period.
You had congestive heart failure?
2003.
That was the first time for me hearing this.
I was way heavier than I am now. And I felt a very sharp pain in my chest. And Romello, you're right. These hoes don't care. Never have, never will.
If I may.
Man, hey man, you a G for surviving that, bro.
Since 2003, I've been through some things.
I can imagine.
If
I may say something.
Health-wise, I've been through some things since 2003. Okay? And it cost me a total of 4 years adding everything up, doing broadcasting. Adding all the days up that I missed, 4 full years. I mean, granted, they were spread out. And the last 2 have come lately. Because I haven't done a game live since last year. When I got so dehydrated at a basketball game, I left in tears and in pain. And that's when my wife sat me down and said, look, you don't need to be at a stadium right now. You're not ready.
Yep.
I'm glad I listened.
She was right.
Because I'm doing all my play-by-play work here at home with the teams I want to cover. It's the revolution now. But to answer Gavin's question, and Romello's comment, they didn't care. Not one damn bit. I told Jody this, and her mouth went through the floor in shock.
I'm sure she was appalled about it because,
to say the least.
Well, at least she's glad you're still alive, man. And then let's not forget, when you got your cancer diagnosis, she raised hell and high water.
Oh, she sure did. Jody, passport brother, my Jody raised all kinds of hell. I'll say
Actually,
that.
that's me who said it.
Aloud.
Okay.
I'll say it again aloud for everyone in the chat. When I got diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer,
Oh man.
down in North Carolina 2 years ago, and they told her November 21 that nothing can be done. You want to talk about a wife raising all kinds of hell to keep her husband around? She raised all kinds of hell.
Mm.
And I was in the middle of it because there was a time I wasn't taking care of myself, and Jody ain't having that.
Mm.
Period. Jody's not having that. Jody looked me in the eye and said, I need you here.
Mister, I need you here right now. You're not going anywhere.
And that's the exact sentence she told me.
And I'm saying this with a mouthful of canker sores. Ow. Ugh. Excuse me.
I mean, that was the exact sentence she said to me.
Okay.
And I didn't quit. I'm not gonna quit. I'm sitting here right now with like
that gave you strength and new life. Said, oh, like, whoa, okay, yeah. All right, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
Mr. St. Clair, I must say something. First of all, you got quite a voice. You should have a career in radio or as an actor. Sorry,
voiceover artist, which is something else I'm gonna get into. Let me point this out too to Gavin and to Passport and to all in the chat. You all hear the way that I speak.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What do you think I got ridiculed on the most growing up and still get ridiculed now at age 50 from black women?
Because you speak proper English.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you talking white?
I still get that. And I'm going to be 51 next month. And I still get that.
Welcome.
Exactly. If y'all know how many times Jody and I have laughed at that. Here's the crazy part, Romello. I want you to listen for the two names I'm going to give you. What gave me the broadcasting bug was a broadcasting pair by the name of Jim Durham and Johnny Kerr, voices of the Chicago Bulls. Radio and television up until 1990 when they flipped the simulcast script.
Mm.
But I'm black. But I'm black and I'm not supposed to know that.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly.
Oh, wait. You need a soundboard for that. Excuse me.
Let me find it. But I'll say it again. But I'm black and I'm not supposed to know that piece of broadcasting business. I'm not.
I gotta do this. I gotta do this, Snowman. I gotta do this.
Go.
Hey, hang on.
Snowman.
Someone called. Who's that?
It was Passport.
It's Passport. Passport, can you just get time out for a minute? Just hold on a second.
Yeah, you good, bro.
What you got for me?
This emotional breakdown by Snowman is brought to you by Bum Leg Orthopedics brand new ankle brace, so people could stop dragging their feet around. And the all new back brace, the only thing that's keeping Anthony Davis's career intact. Snowman, please give it to me.
Oh my leg! Oh my leg! Oh my leg!
Bum Leg Orthopedics, folks.
I mean, I've been talking like this, hell, for as long as I've been alive, because the first two people to get on me about how I speak in public were my parents.
Whoa. What did they say exactly? What did Pop say and what did Mom say exactly?
Learn how to speak in public.
And
Simply
Grandpa?
put, same thing.
So we can't forget about Tiny.
No, can't forget about Tiny.
How the hell did he get his nickname Tiny, by the way? I wanted to know.
Someone, a scoutmaster gave him that name. Long time ago.
How big was Granddaddy Snow? How tall was he?
5'6".
Oh yeah, average height. And what was it in senior?
Oh, he wasn't. Well, when he got older, he wasn't skinny. No.
No. I said in senior.
Oh,
I mean, your dad.
senior. Yeah.
Pops. How tall was Pops?
Dad was 5'8".
And you shot up to 6'5"?
The height, if strangely enough, the height was on my dad's side of the family.
Well, obviously
Because
they but then again, they grew up in like where's it? Where
yeah,
the Snows originally from? First of all, where the Snows originally from?
Pops was from Chicago. Tiny was from
And
Macomb, Mississippi.
yeah, because and plus growing up when they were growing up, you know,
Mm-hmm.
nutrition, everything being what it is, the growth got stunted as fuck.
Yeah.
That explains it.
Yeah.
That explains it.
Tiny
You know,
was from
I'm thinking.
Macomb. Tiny was from Macomb, Mississippi, but lived most of his life in Chicago.
Oh, during the Great Migration and everything, or do you move when he was a kid? When he like okay, as an adult, is
he moved when he was a young. He moved to Chicago when he was a young adult after he met my grandma.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that explains a lot. Okay, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Because you know everybody's family's from somewhere originally.
I still get ridiculed to this day by Black people, mostly Black women, and I don't have to tell you all the rest of that, because of the way I speak and actually have a command of the English language.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something similar, Snowman?
Mm-hmm.
You know, first of all, me being African and being where I'm from, there's a lot of us here in Norway, and I remember it's like a couple of them used to like clown on me because when I was interacting with Norwegians, they just said, "Dude, you being a coconut." I said, "No, I'm integrating." But here's the fucked up part.
Yes.
Until a lot of us could master the Norwegian language, some of them had limited, and most Norwegians did converse in English, and most Eritreans had a hard time conversing with them. They would look at me like, Nate, they would ask me to help them out with something. I said, and I was like looking at this, and I had to break it down and translate in according with our culture and our language and shit.
Yeah.
And just looking at them is like, man, you guys were shitting on me, but I realized the hypocrisy because, yeah, I'm a motherfucking coconut until y'all need me. Especially when they had to when we had to come to like when I was living like in an apartment with 4 other men.
Yep.
And my younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was fortunate to have my younger brother with me, but the fact is that I was able to integrate easily with other people, but they forgot that hey, I was born in exile, so I knew how to talk to white people.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that I was able to do that, they used to clown on me for it until they needed me. And I've never been bothered. It's not sad. It's like it is what it is. I'm like, dude, the only reason you want to ask me to help is because you know your relatives can't help you. It is what it is.
Truth.
Ouch.
But I used to clown on them for that. But I used to clown on them. And I'm like, it is what it is. I never said about it. Hey, if I'm a coconut, I might as well be a Bounty Snickers. I said a Bounty candy bar because that was one of my favorite candy bars. Not Snickers, not Mars, Bounty. Yeah, I was a weird motherfucker.
I love being weird.
I love being real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
Don't this shooting kind of remind you of back in the day about that? Cause always like some young dudes. It was a young basketball player who got shot.
In Chicago.
In Chicago.
Ben Wilson.
Yeah,
Ben Wilson. There was a 30 for 30 for him, right? There was a 30 for 30 about that.
Yep, Ben Wilson.
That. But what some little dudes that killed him, right? Some little guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's man.
Benji
I just feel
Benji
like
Wilson.
It's a thing out there, like it's like it don't matter. Like young dudes just it's like
they
a
don't
culture.
Care.
It's like crazy.
They just don't care.
Yeah.
That's as simple as it gets. They just don't care. Sad, but true. They just don't care.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about, like, and I feel like, I mean, I never called a body or nothing, but I feel like it's not that shit hunts you if you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Haunts you?
It hunts you for the rest of your life.
It does. Right. It does.
You can't run away from. You can't run from yourself, man, because you're gonna find it. Because You might run from yourself tomorrow morning. No, last night you might run from yourself, but tomorrow morning you're gonna find yourself when you look in the mirror. You got to come face to face with what you see in the mirror.
Right.
And some cats are just not ready for that shit.
They're really not.
It's not in them.
They're
It's
really
not in
not.
them to do that. And some cats Charles could tell you, and Charles has fought in wars.
All right, I'm
There's
back,
nothing
folks.
cool about that.
Hold on. I gotta cut in for a second.
Okay.
All right.
The whole time I'm gone, I'm talking to two of my best friends, and we known each other since '96. Somebody did a math on that, okay? And thank you for the super chat.
27 years.
27 years.
27 years, almost 30 years. I've known my brothers and my niggas.
Mm-hmm.
We got in a heated conversation because of this podcast, and I said, people get upset. My boy Darren said, "Well, it's your delivery when you said about obedience. What's wrong?" And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna ask everybody in the chat and everybody on the panel: how many times do I invite people who have a difference of point of view with me?
Every time.
20.
All the time.
A lot, all the time.
I welcome that. People don't understand. I'm with the shits.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to I wish I could. I kind of should not have been as as vocal or as good as I should have been.
Mm-hmm.
I spent an hour and a half, and I'm gonna try to get AB Media or BGS to remix this shit so I could post it. When I had a debate with a woman about childcare and all this other shit.
Hell, I'll edit that for you. Send me the
I'll
file.
even get the snowman. I'll send you the link and see if you can.
Send me the file and pinpoint where it is, and I'll edit that shit.
And I'm gonna tell you what. When I say the first rule of protection is what?
Obedience.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
You're not.
Because if
may I use my partner's famous phrase? No lie to be found.
But here's my question I have for all my detractors, and sometimes my friends, which I value, we don't always agree because that's how you get better at your point of views. Mm-hmm. Look, if I'm driving down the street and it says 25 miles per hour speed limit, and I'm doing 65, 70, and I crash, I either die, injure myself, or kill someone else.
Yeah.
Whose fault is that?
Yours.
Did I obey the law?
No.
Was that law set out there to protect me and others?
Yep.
Yes.
So what's the fucking difference of me when people say, "Oh, you against women"? But the most protective I could be against women is to tell them what? Don't argue with no grown ass man.
Mm-hmm. There's
I
see no problem with that.
Yeah, I got you.
Can I ask anybody? Does that sound like I like women and I love them and want to protect them?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm telling women, don't argue with no goddamn man because you don't know his temperament, you don't know what the fuck he's capable of doing, get the fuck out of the situation. And if we take this case as what we heard, if you have enough time to take your eyes off a motherfucker you're arguing with and text your son to come here, then you have ample opportunity to get the fuck out. Because
thank you.
So
seems pretty plain to me.
I'm not going to justify bullshit. It's one thing, and how many times have I said it? I'm not mad if the son shot him.
Right.
If he would have emptied 15, 17 bullets while he's on top of his mother, so be it. But you don't go chasing the motherfucker after the situation has been neutralized.
Absolutely not.
But another thing which you just brought to mind, Commander Faulkner, she's arguing with the man, but she's at some point had enough time to text her son who was outside in the car.
And here's the
bring
factor.
Me my gun.
And here's
when instead she could have just left.
Exactly. Here's another factor, right? Would have been real greasy and real battle ready if you didn't have that gun?
Nope.
Yep.
No, she knew she had a gun.
True.
Excuse me for a
True.
minute. My
And
man,
she knew she had a little
my
warrior
man.
to come and do her bidding.
You talk about another friend of the buck and of the fucking manosphere.
MS Delta.
MS Delta, do me a favor. Put your email in the chat because I want you and Brian Snow to connect.
Done.
And we got to do. I am no lawyer, but
Done.
the lawyers in my family charges could have been manslaughter and contributing to delinquency of a minor. Imagine if that was a father and son who did the same to a woman.
Uh-oh.
They put her to jail.
Oh,
That's-
done.
Man.
I got to give you something special for that. Hold on.
You're
Thank
going to talk
you.
about being buried under the jail.
Hold up. I got to give them all three for the $100 holla. Woo! Thank you, brother. Bless you.
By the power of Grayskull.
Last but not least,
Now for a lesson. You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond. Plus.
And the best I could find was Jordan Alvarez pounding a home run in the World Series this past October.
exactly.
But that fits the time. That fits the time, doesn't it?
Yeah. See, people want to talk about I'm not protecting women.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very protective. There is no woman I ever dated. There's no other woman I've been friends with benefits, and there's no one other woman who I've been just friends with, nothing sexual, who never said they never felt protected by me.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing they always said, I've always felt loved and I always felt protected.
Right.
And here's my thing. If you're such a concerned parent, I'm not putting my son in this situation. See, Jadea, my friend said the same thing. He said, Officer Falk, man, shout out to Jadea. You know, he said Officer Falk is confused because he forgot he's dealing with dysfunctional people and their enablers. Separation from fuckery has to happen for progress, prosperity to occur, which I do agree. And like I told my friends, when he says, well, Charles, I've been in the situations too. And he said, Charles, you're smart. I said, yeah, so that means stupid people don't need guns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too late than a motherfucker. I'm too late than a motherfucker.
Let me give a correct answer, Bell, for that comment. For that.
I'm too late than a motherfucker. See, I love my friends because we agree on most things. There's sometimes we're gonna have a difference of opinion. We're men. I'm okay with that.
Yes.
I constantly, my friends think I have this platform for people who agree with me. I have it. Before I even get, how many times before I let anybody get on the panel, I ask for my detractors first.
Every time. Hell, you were doing that, Charles. You were doing that, Charles, when you and I first got together.
Exactly. So I have no problem
with that for as long as you've been doing that shit for as long as I've known you. And I'll say it again. Charles made that invite when we did our first live broadcast in 2016. 2016.
Exactly. Tell me, I'm part of the early Manosphere 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Cynthia G's panels. I went to all the panels.
And destroyed it.
I went to all these Sim Protectors channels and embarrassed them.
Did. Embarrass
See,
the daylights out of him.
you're not going to tell me. I've always said this, and please, somebody be the scribe in the chat, if not everybody. Put this in the chat, and please timestamp it. Nothing I protect is above my critique.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing I protect is above my
Above
critique.
my critique.
Guess what?
Absolutely.
I'm so respectful of other motherfuckers' girlfriends, wives, sisters, grandmothers,
Mm-hmm.
that I've stepped into situations to make sure their wives and girlfriends, sisters, cousins, mothers, grandmothers were safe.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm gonna put it down for motherfuckers who think I'm against women. I'm driving down Monument Street, Cross Street, Robinson, and seeing a guy beating the living shit out of a woman. Okay, you argued, you hit her up. I'm like, yo, that's enough. Come over here. I said, yo, I'm gonna tell you one thing. She got enough. Leave her alone.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is a woman I didn't even fucking know. The nigga, when I came out the car, was like, yo, leave her alone. She already got enough. Like, fuck you, I'll fuck you up. I said, I'm not her. Come on, bring it.
Mm-hmm.
One dude yelled, oh, he's the cop. I said, don't tell him that. I'm not gonna arrest him. I'm gonna put him in shock trauma. And he ran like a little bitch. But nobody will ever talk about how many of my motherfucking detractors would have done that shit.
Zero.
Z and Ro.
Even off duty, I protected women. I've even told the story to my niece. When she was in my house, when she first had my first great nephew, and he was 4 to 5 months old, I had my wisdom tooth pulled and said, yeah, you can stay here as long as you can till you get your shit together. But this is my rule. I got guns and I got valuable shit in here. Don't let anybody in my house without my permission. Guess what she did? She disobeyed my rule. Let her child's father in there, drunk as shit. They arguing, and he had her by her throat, choking her with my great nephew, who was a baby at the time, in her arms.
Oh my gosh.
I had my fucking wisdom tooth pulled earlier that day. Stitches and fucking gauze in my mouth, whooping his ass. But I hate women,
jaw. Right? And you were mumbling when you were cussing him out and everything? What the fuck you think you're doing here? What you think you're doing?
Literally, he tried to leave my house, and I did the best fucking German suplex known to man in my living room, and for 7 whole minutes, because my nephew counted, whooped his natural black ass.
Good.
When the police came, because my niece called the police and said, my baby daddy's fighting with my uncle, and my uncle's a cop. The entire Eastern District was in my front fucking door.
Hello.
I'm having blood come out because I damn near split the stitches.
Wow.
So, wait a minute. But I don't fucking protect women, right? And when I proceeded, when shit got died down, I dug in my niece's ass. Why did you force me in a compromising state to have to protect you when I already gave you the rules to keep you and the baby protected? What did this nigga want to
you don't protect women?
But yet, even some of my friends, you speak so against women. I said, look, I had my who was formerly married. And I told her, she was like, you seem so harsh against women. I don't. I'm realistic.
Yeah.
Very realistic. If I seen Jody and she had a flat tire, and I know the snowman would take a while to fucking get there, am I going to stand there with her and change her tire, or be like, hey, you on your own? Because I've changed many of women's tires who I didn't know, nor did I try to get in their fucking pants.
Exactly. Because that's the kind of man that you are. If you and Charles, I already know you. I've known you 8 years now, almost 8 years.
Almost a whole decade.
Yep, almost a whole decade. If Jody had a flat tire and she called me and told me I was on the way, and you just happened by, I would have two text messages. One, your friend Charles is here, that will come from Jody, and two, the second one will come from Charles saying, I got you, get here safe.
And you know why I do shit like that?
With the emphasis on the words "get here safe."
You know why I do shit like that? Because number one, I'm not a good man. I'm an honorable man. There's a difference.
Big difference.
And number two, if my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my aunts, my sister, who's in the hospital right now, may she have a speedy recovery.
Pray for her.
Get well soon.
My niece, my soon-to-be great niece, who's about to be born in a couple of months. If they were in a moment of distress, I would pray that an honorable man would look out for them.
Exactly.
But no, none of my detractors are going to hear this shit.
More to the point, they don't want to hear this shit. More to the point, they don't want to hear this shit. Period. They don't want to hear the truth being thrown right at them. Why don't they want to hear the truth being thrown at them? Because it's the truth.
I'm coming off a fucking 8.5, 9 hours of work. Seen a woman trying to fucking fix her tire. I fix it for her. She got on the phone with her husband, let her know she was safe, and the husband thanked me for being an honorable man.
Yeah.
Man, I'll say it again, as long as Charles has known me. And Charles, I'm glad you said this. Had that been Jody, and Jody texted me, and knowing me, I'm going out of my mind, hoping she stays safe. If I get a text message from Charles, I'm calm because I know what he's going to do. And Charles's message to me would be, I got this, get here safe. And I'll let you take it from there. Because had that been any woman Charles is dealing with, I'm doing the same thing. End of story.
But yet, shout out to Romello. The best thing I can say, I respect men for the reason I understand what they go through. A look can tell you everything. Facts. That's why men danger quicker than women. As you can see in this situation, what brought up this live stream in the first goddamn place. And Dad said, Officer Charles Faulkner, it's either I lead or I leave. I quote him all the time and credit him for that. That statement is so powerful, very clear, direct, unambiguous. Thanks for that, brother. Shout out to you today.
Great and to the point.
I like that. That should be a shirt.
Very, very truth spoken.
And see, here's the problem. Shout out to Angry Man. Shout out to a lot BGS. Shout out to Green Gorilla. Shout out to Dr. T. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to toot my own horn. I'm one of the most influential motherfuckers in this space. Because at some point, a motherfucker actually quoted me.
Yeah.
And the other influential person would be my ass, because Charles and I hooked up with our friend Matt Granahan, and Charles got in this space because of the stream that we did in 2016.
If it wasn't for Snowman and Matt's a white dude, and Matt's not racist, but he will tell you, I'm not racist, but yes, I understand there's a privilege for white people.
Jody told me that.
And Jody would tell you that. And she's a whole white woman.
Jody has told me that more than once over the course of 5 years. Jody has told me that. Direct quote.
I wish you motherfuckers were closer, because I would use Jody as a front man to get so many loans to build Black Line Security the fuck up. Because she's on point. See,
she is.
And see, I love an honest white person, whether they're racist or friendly. Because do you know how many motherfuckers I had conversations for 2 hours about race in Colorado? And we had an honest, unapologetic conversation. See, the problem with the black community, we don't like that.
Say that again.
You get uncomfortable. You guys get uncomfortable.
We don't like the uncomfortable situations and conversations. Exactly, Romello. Tell me the goddamn truth.
You think people will?
There's
no
reason. I'm going to put my 15-year-old son in a position of danger, argue with a nigga on the street when I have a chance to get the fuck away.
Man, Jody has always told me the truth and kept it real with me. If I appreciate nothing else about Dr. K, it's that. She has honored me with respect and with the truth for the entire time that we have been together, which dates back to September 2018. Which dates back to September 2018. And I can tell y'all, I heard my mom's voice in my head when Jody and I first got together. And Charles, you know what's coming. And Gavin, you know what's coming too. Matter of fact, everybody in the panel knows what's coming. When I say my next statement, I heard my mother's voice in my head saying, you better not date them white girls. When Jody and I first got together. And that day we got together, September 6, 2018, I finally responded and said, fuck you. This is the love of my life. I finally responded.
Excuse me for a second, fellas. Keep talking. Excuse me for a second, fellas. Keep talking.
I finally responded to my mother's voice in my head and said, fuck a whole lot of you. And that honestly broke the chains.
Yeah. I hear you, my dude.
Can I get a witness here?
Woo!
That finally broke the chains, because I can tell you, since I went away to college in 1990. I've been to Columbia, Missouri. I've been to Sacramento, California, Denver, Colorado, and I heard the same goddamn warning every single fucking time. Every single fucking time. Especially when I went away to Northeast Missouri State in 1990, which is the reason I got the fuck out of the house in the first place. But no, my mother was so sarcastic when she said, we're looking forward to any woman that you bring home, and then she just decides to chide me and say, if she happens to be white, I'll be okay. Knowing that's a goddamn lie.
Bullshit.
Knowing that's a goddamn fucking bold ass lie. Matter of fact, what do I often say on the morning show? Who told this lie?
Exactly. You always ask that question. Whenever somebody says some outrageous shit, you go like, who told this lie?
Who told this lie? Well, I already had the answer to that. And like I said, when I left the black community for good in 2010, it took me a while to find the woman of my dreams. But when I found Jody K, and I heard my mother's voice in my head when I picked up the phone and I called Jody while she was at home and I was at a game, and I heard her giggle, and I knew I was a goner. The next voice I heard in my head was my mother's. The next voice I heard in my head was my mother's saying, you better not date them white women. Them white women oh, I'm getting pissed now because I gotta let this out. You know what she kept throwing at me?
What?
Case of Kobe Bean Bryant.
You don't know that case. She doesn't know the facts about that case, is she? That was easily debunked and everything. Everybody just blew that out of proportion. Oh man.
She didn't. Does anyone remember? She didn't know the facts of that case. She just used it for her own
disingenuous. For her agenda, she was being disingenuous.
Her own agenda to steer me back into a commuter that was rotting to the core every day I woke up.
It was expired long before.
Long ago. long
means.
ago. And when I heard Jody's voice and when I heard Jody giggle and I was a goner and I knew I was doing all kinds of backflips in my mind about Jody K.
Mhm.
When I told my mother in my head, fuck you, I found the love of my life, I finally broke free.
Exactly.
I finally broke free. Y'all know how liberating it is for a man when the final voice in his head that's preventing him from greatness he finally breaks free from?
Man, I
And
can't
9
imagine.
times out of 10, and I'm gonna speak the truth here and shame the devil. Given the state of the black community, whatever the hell's left of it, 9 times out of 10, it's a black mother. And
That should
Romello,
tell
you're
y'all
right. That's
everything you need.
exactly. And Romello, you're right. That's exactly what I've said. Fuck this shit. I'm out. And one clear. I hope I said that right. I'll just say Cornelius. That's the song I sang when I hung up the phone talking to Jody. I finished the game. I was humming that song in my head, and the song that identifies me and Jody is "You're My Best Friend." Same group.
All right.
Same group. When a man finally breaks those shackles, mentally, physically, emotionally, it is even more liberating than the so-called 40 acres and a goddamn mule. Exactly. It's more it's Jesus.
You know what I like to know?
I'm sitting here saluting this with a glass of wine that
Hey,
I got from me and my wife when we had dinner tonight. But
Okay.
y'all, I know y'all get it, but for those who, and I'm gonna cry, but for those who came in when I was battling cancer,
Yeah.
the best person who stood by me was my best friend, and I married her.
Exactly.
4 years ago, this past Sunday, I said I do to my best friend. She has not left my side, nor will I ever give her a reason to.
hello.
Ever. I respect her and I love her too goddamn much
That's a clap.
to
Brother
repeat.
Snow, could I ask you a personal question?
You may.
Well, it's actually two. One, do you have any in-laws? And two, of course, how do they treat you?
Let me get the sisters. Where the sisters at?
Let me get my sounds. To answer your first question, yes.
Okay.
To answer your second question, does that answer your question?
Hey.
Sometimes I will whisper this because
Give him
Jody's a light
my
sleeper.
email. Hit me up.
Let me just say this. Sometimes I just want to deliver a
Tiger uppercut.
but I'd be in orange so fast it's not even funny. For the way that I'm taking myself out of this equation. For the way he treats my wife.
Yeah.
And
It's
some of
frustrating.
the things he says to her royally pisses me off.
Yeah.
I know my New York accent's about to come out. It royally pisses me off.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Don't push that button. Don't push that button.
Man,
Sorry, I had to go wise on that. I had to go wise.
I know. And I appreciate you bringing me back to laughter.
Yeah, don't get the strap.
But there are
Don't grab the strap
some
on
days. Let me throw my game show love into this. There are some days in my brain after I hear them talking, I think,
Joker, Joker, Joker.
And all I can all I can think of,
You play to win the game.
and that's what I'm doing.
Mhm.
That's what I'm doing. Because as a man, and I've said this a lot, and Sick, I've said this a lot on and off air.
Uh-huh.
And this is true. This is damn true. Thank you, Kurt Angle. Sometimes you just get fucking tired.
Exactly.
Hey,
You're tired of this shit.
Sometimes you just get goddamn fucking tired.
That's what Jeremy probably felt like. Like
Who?
Jeremy, the nigga who punched the shit out of Hood. You could tell.
Damn, bro. The last team is Hood on top.
He was just tired. He's like, fuck this.
That's a real Hood chick. Damn.
Just stick it. No, like Bernie Mac. You just. If y'all remember when he did the county thing, where he was like, "Tired of this shit.
I'm tired of this shit.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers."
And that's how I feel. Y'all want to know what?
You want to feel that way? It's just
one back.
Listen, I've had so many people ask the question, what is true love really like? Talk to my ass. After being abused in a relationship, after being verbally put down since 2010 by mostly every woman you dated because you had a dream, and they mostly tell you to, quote, be realistic. When men are not allowed to pursue what they want to do and pursue their passion, that too pisses me off. I'm gonna give y'all a great example of what love is. After everything I've been through, you know what Jody told me?
What?
Use your show, use your company to bring in money to help the household. Because every time you think about getting an outside job, it takes away from what you love to do.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful
Let me
thing, man.
Let me repeat that. And whoever the scribe is, put this in the chat. Use what you love to do to bring money into our household. Because every time you think otherwise about getting an outside job, it takes away from what you love to do.
Facts.
If that's not a woman who is supporting her man through any and all, and she jokingly told me, I'm tired of doing this shit by myself. And I got worried for a second, but then she put her arms around me and she says, I know you're busting your ass. And I know what's going to happen for you.
That's a lot of ass he's been busting.
Look, she looked me square in the eyes and said, I know this is going to happen for you.
All in due time. Just don't rush it. In the meantime,
that's my problem. I've been rushing it since I've been back on the air. I've been rushing
it. Yeah, exactly.
Now,
you've been rushing it because you're trying to make up for lost time. But the thing is like,
yep,
you are still on, but you're still on the mend. Because remember, you are not a young man anymore. Right. You just recovered from major. You're still recovering from major surgery. I mean, who remembers Fidel Castro? It took him like damn near a year and a half to 2 years to recover from stomach surgery. 80-some years old. So you turn 50 and you had major surgery, so it's gonna take you a lot longer to recover.
Yeah, it is.
In the meantime, it's like when a player comes back prematurely from an injury, the risk of re-injuring himself
is greater.
Especially if you haven't properly healed from it. I mean, like, how many people have had like reconstructed ACLs after major come back prematurely after getting their ACLs reconstructed. And then next thing you know, they're gone again from that same injury.
Yeah.
And they're never the same again. That's exactly what it is.
They're never ever the same again. They're never ever the same again.
Like imagine how many players, because you can see it on their faces. Like I remember watching a lot of games and you see the players like they're injured and they're just on the sidelines just watching their teammates play, and you could just see it in them. They want to go, but they can't. While their teammates are all suited up, they're in street gear.
And Jadea, you're right. She is with me for me, and I with her.
Yeah.
Let me preach that again. Jody is with me for me. Period. And I am with Jody for her. Because we were friends for a couple of months before we even got together.
And she wouldn't take no for an answer.
Nor would I. Nor would I.
Yeah. So, my question is, how do y'all manage to make it work despite the 14-inch height difference? Or is it 15? If it's 15.
Man, we laugh. Well, one, we laugh a lot. And two, we find ways.
There's a friend of mine. She is like 5'1". Her husband's like 6'9". 6'8", 6'9".
Man, I seen a 5-foot woman date a 7-foot man. Been there.
Yeah, that's Shaq we're talking about, by the way, folks. And the friend of mine, she takes the jokes because her husband and her are both into Star Wars. Sometimes I once teased them, looked at them and said, "You guys look. You realize you guys look like a Wookiee and an Ewok got together. You know what I'm saying?"
You know what Jody did for me one year for Valentine's Day? My favorite character in Star Wars was Chewbacca. She got me a shirt with Chewbacca on it. With the phrase, I choose CHEWS you. I wear that shirt and wore it out. And I don't care.
It's beautiful.
I don't care.
Hey, let me ask y'all just this one last question though about the one shit. Hey, y'all think that that Jeremy people, right? Like the dude who got popped. Y'all think that the 14-year-old boy and his mother should leave Chicago, or just hold it down?
Let me stop you right there. They're not going to leave Chicago because soon they're going to have a lot of protection on their side because she's suing the goddamn city, and the city of Chicago is going to cave to this bitch.
Okay.
Simply put.
Okay, because I was coming off the standpoint because it's going to be people trying to... It's someone out there that loves Jeremy. It's a homie out there that loves his dead homie. You know what I'm saying? And want some retaliation.
Wait, hold on a second. The man that was killed, his name was Jeremy?
Yeah, his name Jeremy. I think it was Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy. Let me look it up. Yeah.
I can't help it. When I hear the name Jeremy, I can't help but think about Nipsey. Because
I'm about to look it up real quick.
The reason I think about it, because Nipsey Hussle comes to mind when I hear the name Jeremy, because his birth name Ermias in our mother tongue, because he's from the same ethnicity as me.
Right.
Ermias, that's how we say Jeremiah or Jeremy.
Ermias, yep.
Ermias. Because here they say Jeremias.
Yeah.
So us we say Ermias and
Yeah, Jeremy Brown.
Hey. Jeremias Moreno, as they would say in Spanish. That tells you a lot. You're like,
somebody want to come back on the panel. Galvin St. Clair. He asked me
Gavin
if he should
Gavin
come
said-
back on.
Yeah, but
That's-
Charles
Yeah.
is Charles the only one who can let people in. Charles is the way to do it.
What's up,
Gavin?
Lewis?
Gavin, hold on.
Gavin, stand
just
by.
hang in there. Stand by, Gavin. My thing
All
is
right, I
this.
just want to get your thoughts on that before I bounce. Okay.
Yeah, man. I mean, they're gonna throw a shield over her. She already got the main prize. The case got thrown. The case got obliterated. All right, let's just be real. The case got blown to smithereens.
Thrown out with extreme prejudice. But my
The
thing is this.
case got blown. The case got blown to smithereens.
Yeah. With
The
that,
case got
my
blown.
question-
The case got blown to smithereens. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
The case got blown to smithereens.
Okay. But what I want to say is this is going to set I'm sure sets a precedence, because you know
To
there's
say
going to
the
be some
least.
people that are thinking, if they can get away with that, imagine what we can get away with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's some mothers thinking, how many of us can just do that, sick our own children on people like that?
Yeah. The
Because at
stupidest
the end of
thing
the
I've
day,
heard. Stupidest thing I've heard in I thought in my life. Stupid.
I mean, I understand the kid wanted to protect his mother, but you're thinking child should never be put in that position. Unfortunately,
Ever.
the children who've been put in that position. And how many of these women are not even fit as mothers, but hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted, because since we're talking about how black men are not appreciated and whatnot, I got to bring up the field master Ron Wills.
Mm-hmm.
There's this clip I keep mentioning every once in a while. It came out like a few years ago. It's called "Denial of a Black Man's Humanity,"
Mm.
and he used the example of Jay Ellis's character Lawrence in Insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the beginning of the show, if you remember, he was like down on his luck, stuck in a dead end job, while working on an app, and Issa Rae's character was just like kind of just like condescending to him.
Yeah.
He was depressed. He was not in a good place, and she was just being unbearable at times.
Oh boy.
And then it was what's her face, Angelica, something Houston. It was like Tasha,
Mm-hmm.
who he bumped it. She was like encouraging him to do the right thing, encouraging him to get back on his dream in IT, to develop some apps and stuff.
I'm back, folks. See,
Hey, welcome back.
Hey, what's up, Charles?
I had to drop off and deliver some law enforcement knowledge to the Angry Man. Shout out to the Angry Man, because I give credit to Brian Snow and Angry Man for putting me on this joint.
Yeah, how is Angry Man doing?
You're welcome.
He's doing well. He's got over 400,000 subscribers. He should have had that years ago if niggas didn't fucking hate.
And should we be surprised?
No, we're not. But congratulate the man on his great success. See, this is the part that angers me sometimes. Like I said before I muted, we hear in this space that we don't protect women, but the easiest way to protect women, look, listen to me. Yes, obedience. Yes, my friend said you got to have. Oh, I'm sorry, almost 471. Congratulations to him. Obedience keeps us safe.
Yeah, it does.
Listen to your man. Even Lattimore said in this song, "Let's straighten it out. Sit yourself down and talk to me." Why the fuck do I have to go and battle and contain a woman? Well, you got to know how to control me. No, I have to control animals, power tools, cars, weapons.
What are you, a pit bull?
Machines.
The only bitch he's got to handle is a pit bull named Justice.
And even at that time, she's with my niece now. So here's the crazy part.
And that dog is obedient. When you tell her not to do something, she knows not to do anything.
She knows. when she does something she's not supposed to do, guess what she does? Bow her head down in submission, and go to her bed, and she starts shaking.
That's Lucy.
So you telling me if a goddamn dog knows right from wrong, I expect better from human beings.
Agreed.
There's
Agreed.
no fucking way. See, people get mad and say, well, what if that was your mother? See, I'm going to start a Patreon and talk about a lot of shit when I grew up. Yeah, I went to private school, but guess what? My parents divorced in the 80s too.
I can't wait for that Patreon to come out.
Because I'm going to tell you something. I've been in situations where my mother dated men she shouldn't have been after she divorced my father. And I looked at my mother and said, why did you bring this man into our lives? He's ruining us. If I would say that to my own goddamn mother, what you think I would say to another woman?
Oh,
even more.
See, you look at her like, what the hell were you thinking?
Here's the statement I want people to put in the chat. To any woman, if you truly love me, you would not put me in a position where I would have to I would have to decide to kill someone for you. I would not have to put myself in a situation where it's ultimately dangerous that could have been, that it was avoidable. If you really loved your son, you would have went to your son and not called him to the scene.
Funny you should say that, Commander Falk. Reason why, when I was a kid, I also went to private school.
Same here.
And the school nurse was a Jamaican lady. Now, for anybody who's familiar with people from the islands, okay, here in America, when we were growing up, you know, we always had Grimm's Fairy Tale, or if you remember Aesop Fables.
Yeah. Showing your age with that one, boy.
Hey, I don't mind. I keep telling everybody, I said already, I was born 1970. I'm 53. I'm a 70s baby from New York, born and bred.
Born in 1972. Born in 1972, Chicago, Illinois. You're speaking my language.
Okay. So we here in America had Grimm's Fairy Tales and Aesop Fables. The Jamaicaners said in the islands they have what was called Royal Reader. And she had a collection, and she brought one of them to school. And I read it. And goddamn, this is one story that stuck out in my mind even up to this day. And it goes back to what I mentioned to you, Brother Snowman, about how an elder taught us about a lady never gives a gentleman calls with hands.
Exactly.
And it does touch what Brother Commander Faulkner just said just now. There's a story in Royal Reader I remember about where there was this king. He had he put up a celebration of a festival, a joust, because he found his lady love and he's about to get married.
Right.
So, in the part of the participation, the lady love of the king, the fiance, she thought it'd be as a whim to throw her handkerchief into a certain ring where wild beasts were fighting against each other. Now, the knight that was standing next to her jumps into the pit where these wild beasts are fighting to retrieve her handkerchief because of chivalry.
Oh shit!
He doesn't retrieve it. Why? Because the wild beasts kind of tear him. You know, doesn't kill him, but he does. They do him some damage.
They maim him.
They maim him. The rest of the knights go in, subdue the beasts, kill some, subdue the others, and rescue their colleague. Now here's the cold part. That knight that did that was the commander of the king's entire army.
Oh.
And the best knight of the realm. So while his physicians were looking after their commander, his knight, in front of the whole kingdom. The king takes off his glove and slaps his fiance in front of everybody.
Good move.
Saying, you are no longer my fiance, leave. Because of what she did for foolishness, now put their entire kingdom at threat. Because what if there were spies from other countries, other kingdoms, to see what she had done? Now they know that we're pretty much almost defenseless because the commander of my army is in serious dire straits because of your foolishness.
She compromised.
Yes, the entire kingdom, which she was about to become queen over.
Think about it. If the king dies, she's the next in charge. See, this is the reason why I tell a lot of men, be careful who you impregnate. Because one bad pregnancy, see, there's one thing about men. If all four of us on this panel right now robbed a bank, we're going to jail. But if a woman fucks with her reproductive system and gets with a nymph nod or ne'er-do-well, she can fuck up the next generations.
Yep.
The next three, maybe even 4 generations.
And has in some cases.
This is true.
You wonder why we have such poverty in the black community? And shout out to you, new subscriber. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to Big Frog One, new subscriber. Came from the Angry Man Show. See, you got to understand something. Because I'm going to do more segments of military science. Namer like myself is a military man. So he'll get it. And Gavin does, public safety himself. For much is given, much is earned. You have to put yourself on the line every fucking day. I don't care if you're security, unarmed, armed, police, firefighters, crossing guards, transportation authority. I respect all of them because those are dangerous jobs at some point. Some of the most dangerous jobs is just dealing with directing traffic. My mother was a crossing guard for 30 years. She went to that goddamn job doing thunderstorms and snowstorms, doing 110-degree weather. Me and my mother may not always see eye to eye, but there's a level of respect I have for her, just like I have for my father. Yep, I know what hardworking black people look like. I'm of their progeny. I talk this whole time when I'm talking to my friends, my son and my godson was in the kitchen with me. Okay? There's sometimes I do live streams in my room or in the car or in my, and shout out to F Holiday. God damn it, man. Yeah, some of y'all are just some great, and I know that everybody doesn't donate, but goddamn, thank you all who donate and thank you all who come over here just to subscribe. Love you guys and girls.
Every single one of y'all are greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
I used to get upset because at first I was averaging 150 people viewing, and this happened, around when Kevin passed and a little bit before that. I was averaging 150 people. I don't give a fuck if I get 19, 20, 40 people watching. Guess what? My job is to make those 19 to 40 people smarter.
Yes.
To give them a point of view they might not have thought of. I'm going to give you the floor in a second. There's something that everybody gives. Snowman, he does play-by-play, and he gives you a red pill sense of sports. This is a guy who's 50 years old, who's seen the golden age of damn near all your major sports. Please subscribe to him. I'm going to get Namer and Gavin. I'm going to pressure them to get channels.
I have reasons for not. I do have a channel, but I don't really do anything on it for my own reason, for my own safety. We'll discuss that later.
Oh yeah, I respect that. And it's funny because I'll have people saying, "Well, if somebody slapped your mother, you wouldn't shoot everything in it? No. No. Because I'm not your pit bull, I'm your son.
Exactly.
I'd ask what happened exactly.
Matter of
And
fact,
I need the whole truth.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you some real life shit. My mother was watching my son. He was about 4 or 5 years old, maybe 6. He was on a bike. Some kid wanted to get on his bike, so him and the little boy were scrapping. My mom broke it up and said, "No, you can't do that. That's his bike. If you want to use his bike, you have to ask him." This 15-year-old Brunhilde built bitch tried to swing at my mother.
Whoa.
And she was 15 and she was built like a man. See, my mother, I'm going to tell people this. My mother was armed security when she was pregnant with me, and a couple of years before that. My mother was actually in a gang.
Oh.
And you know, gangs are different back from then to now. Like, yo, they used to go meet in the park, and if you had a problem, we rumbled. It wasn't about drug dealing, it was about protecting your neighborhood. My father is a 3rd-degree black belt in Shang-Ru karate. My grandfather boxed. I boxed, wrestled, and did MMA. My nephew boxed, wrestled, and did MMA. My son wrestled and boxed. We're a combat sport family. She tried to assault my mother when she was just breaking up 2 kids fighting, and my mother never had one mark on her, but my mother fucked that much. My mother's only 5 feet tall. She fucked that girl up.
Your mom's a grown woman. This was a 15-year-old who thought she was bad.
Because she had some size over my mother. But my mother had years. This is when she was in her 50s. Her late 50s. Probably 60. And my mother see, people don't understand this. The older you get, the more solidified your bones get.
Mm-hmm.
So each
let
time
me salute F Holiday for the quick cash app in support of the Snow Strong Family Foundation. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, F Holiday. You know what, F Holiday?
F Holiday.
You, electrician, and others, and MS Delta, y'all blessings, man. And I'm not saying none of my subscribers are that, but guess what? Y'all blessed. Because when brothers like myself or Snowman go through some times, and y'all don't even understand, $10 go a lot for some brothers.
Oh man. Oh man.
$10, $20 go a lot for brothers. You don't know that $10 put gas in somebody's tank to get to jobs.
Puts gas in my wife's tank. It allows me to go on location for the day. Allows me to allows it's so I'm gonna have to go, but I'm gonna start crying. But it just means so much when those donations come in. You know, I admittedly complain at times when once upon a time they're fast and furious, and then someone decides to open their mouth and slow the roll because they think I'm a con artist. Had that happen recently.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I never told Snowman this. I had people email me, "Oh, he's conning." No, you don't understand. Snowman's my brother. Snowman would not ask unless he needed. He's got just as much pride as any other man. And any man knows it's hard to ask for something.
Yeah,
you don't want to be a burden.
You don't want to be a burden. But you're looking at a man who conquered cancer. And
who's in full remission.
And overcoming type 2 diabetes.
Oh,
Charles, you're muted.
And there's times when you.
Okay, we can hear you now. Can you repeat what you said in the past, like 5 seconds?
You know what? That's one of the greatest episodes of She-Ra. Even though Sword in the Stone to me is the number one, but that's one of the greatest episodes of She-Ra, Princess of Power.
Yeah.
When she said to her brother Prince Adam, aka He-Man, he ain't heavy, He's my brother. That's the attitude that we should have in this space. I want y'all to say this with me.
No, man, you crying?
What is this? What does this say right there? My
My
brother,
brother, my champion, my
It's all right.
savior.
It's all right. It's all right. It's okay.
And yes, I am crying. These are tears of joy for conquering cancer, for conquering blood clots in both my lungs, for beating congestive heart failure back in 2003. And it's nerve-wracking when people email folks like Charles and email Jody and email some of my other contributors saying, "Oh, he's just a con artist." I told y'all the story of a motherfucker named Dale Yates Jr. who loves to stir up trouble, telling people I'm a con artist. That sumbitch said to me, and I never told Charles this, I will reveal it now. Last year, when I was going through this right before surgery, you know that sumbitch had the nerve to comment on one of my streams, "Oh, you don't have cancer. If you have cancer, prove it."
nigga, why do I need to prove that? Who wants to lie about having cancer? You a son of a bitch if you do. And here's the problem. I had to pull up another drink for that one because that shit depressed me. Here's the problem. You never know when a man goes through stuff. And there's many a times when I had money, I went around and blessed different content creators. I don't brag about none of the shit I've done. I've done shit behind the scenes for my boy Snowman and others.
Yeah, he has.
If I got it, you got it.
Yeah, he has, y'all, because there was one point last year I came on, Charles was hosting a stream and I didn't know what to do, and Jody was stressed out, and Sonia, my beautiful daughter, was stressed out, and I was feeling depressed because I didn't know what to do. And I came on here, I said, "Look, I need some help, and I'm gonna do this again right now. I need some help. I'm in the process of making my business go at my wife's blessing." And I talked about this earlier. At my wife's blessing, she said, "Chase your dreams, man." She said, bring in money for our household by doing what you love to do. And there are days I feel so down because I didn't bring in anything or I didn't bring in much. You know what Jody does? She sits me down, she takes my hand and she goes, "Did you go on air today?" "Yes." "Did you put your Cash App out there for us?" "Yes." "Did you put your Patreon out there?" "Yes." "Then let it do its work. You did your part." She says that to me. She says that to me all the time. The tag y'all need is $ Tallman Dr. K50. That's my Cash App. Any little donation where I can have a day where I can go on location and surprise my wife with lunch, and so we can have lunch for an hour and get her out of the office and get myself out of the office, and I can I can put gas in her car to get her through the week.
Give me that one more time, please.
$ Tallman Dr. I'll spell it. TALLMANDRKAY 50.
Put it in the chat.
I'll put it up right now.
See, people, how many times have I allowed other people to put their Cash Apps in the app because they in my chat because they needed it?
Plenty.
There's a reason why I trademarked. If you look up my brother, my champion, my savior, I own that shit.
Yes, you do. And I'm happy you do.
There's a reason why, because I live by the same credos I give you. People say you hate women. I said, go talk to the women that I was with. Did they feel loved? Did they feel protected? They'll tell you yes. They'll tell
in a
you
minute.
yes every time. You know why?
In a minute.
I tell them. I remember one time I seen one of my exes because, by the way, for a guy who hated women, when I was with my ex-girlfriend Sharon, because she had mold and mildew because the fucking cheapskate landlord, the fucking slumlord in her house, and I said, "Why don't you move with me till you get on your feet?" And she was putting on makeup to go to work. And
Mhm.
I'm like, what are you doing? I'm putting on makeup. You know, sure as hell you don't need it. She was about to cry and she kissed me and said, thank you.
I told my daughter Cheyenne, Jody and I tell Cheyenne all the time, and we tell Dakota this, my son, you need a place to crash. Bring your ass over here. We'll make room. And I have no complaint about it whatsoever. None. If they need a place while they get themselves together, we tell them, come on through here. Cheyenne called me recently and she says, can I come over? Cheyenne said to me, can I come over for the day before the 4th of July? Do you have to ask? And she goes, well,
no, but letting you guys know in advance would be good, would help.
She goes, well, I want to make sure. I say, mom's gonna say yes. Come on over here. Now I did tell her, make sure it is okay, because I'm already giving my blessing. So Cheyenne talked to Jody, and 5 minutes later she says, I'll see you July 3rd, and we'll hang out on the 4th. So I do that. Charles, I feel you. I feel those steps. I do it all the time for my children. And I'll do it all the time for my children.
You have to. Because,
absolutely.
My next live stream is going to be talking about the honorable man. See, the honorable man doesn't have to be a
Anthony Harris, thank you so very much. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Right, let it out. Let it out. Let it out. It's okay.
When they say men don't cry, yes, we do.
That's bullshit.
We cry because guess what? We feel blessed. We feel loved. We have a brotherhood.
Anthony Harris is.
If men don't cry, then what the hell are those dudes doing on the podium at the Olympics?
Exactly.
Shout out to my guy again, MS Delta guy. You F Holiday, SWAT, LAPD SWAT.
LAPD SWAT one.
Yeah.
You guys are heroes, man. Because
certainly are heroes.
And I'm not trying to separate or alienate none of my other subscribers, but you guys are heroes. F Holiday, just don't say his name.
Right.
But, you guys, I got to give you your flowers. I know how hard it is for a man to make money, a black man especially.
Oh man. I mean,
give to other people is so honorable. See, it's not about being nice, it's about being honorable.
Yes, it is.
About doing the right thing.
It is.
It's about doing stuff that makes the world go round. It's that I know my brother's hurting. I know my brother may not be able to work. But see, there's many times I've had channels where there were black men who had real shit. We're not talking this YouTube shit. Real shit. Finding out their daughters were sexually abused. Going through financial issues. Contemplating suicide. Fuck YouTube. I'll say it out there.
Say it.
I'm talking real shit. Real life shit that has real life consequences. And talking to those brothers. And I appreciate anybody who views, because I know everybody don't have it. But just to view and just to share my shit, just to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Even just to take a look at it for 5-10 minutes says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It says a lot. You value what we put out there. You value the entertainment and the information and the education we give.
Information and education.
Please subscribe to Snowman Multimedia in the morning.
I'm trying desperately to get to 1,000 subs because they won't monetize me until I reach that mark, even though the standard has been lowered to 500. and I'm at 6.
Have you been able to contact somebody by any chance at YouTube
Say it again.
regarding the whole change in rules and everything? Have you tried to contact somebody in
I've
YouTube's
tried.
office?
I've tried.
Because guess what?
I'm still gonna try.
I don't give a damn if I get another. I'm at 3,500. There's no reason why 3,500 guys, even if you don't view Snowman, at least give them the subscription.
So
If
many
we-
great shows on that network.
If
Thank
you
you.
love sports, if you like it from a red pill lens, if you want a guy who could tell you anything from the modern day to 30, 40, 50 years ago in sports, go subscribe to the Snowman. There's no fucking reason.
Straight up, if you guys want you guys want unfiltered, straight up, accurate assessment of sports today, without none of the bullshit, without none of the window dressing, like you might be on a 4-letter network, this is the show for y'all. Because we talk about sports, all sports. There is no racial segregation here. We talk about all the sports.
None.
You're gonna get
I shocked the hell out of people. I shocked the hell out of people with my knowledge of hockey, indoor soccer, the San Diego Sockers, the Baltimore Blast. That's for you, Charles.
Baltimore Blast were world champions.
Baltimore Blast, the Chicago Sting, the Dallas Sidekicks.
Hell,
excuse me, Snowman.
Wait till I get Snowman on the boxing, MMA, and Olympic wrestling, world and Olympic and national wrestling tip.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Excuse me, Snowman.
Yes, sir.
Follow my lead when I say this, but black man talking hockey.
Oh, I wasn't ready.
Oh.
Charles, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love
wait a
this.
minute.
Charles hasn't been on the morning show since last summer because I know he's been totally busy. Do it again.
Hold on a second. We got black men talking hockey.
And the same applies
Hold
for
on,
baseball.
wait a minute.
For it.
We got black men talking baseball.
Ooh.
One more. I got one more.
Go.
Wait a minute. Sick Diggy just broke down the knowledge about soccer in Europe.
Guess what?
One more. I got one more. Wait a minute. This show is worldwide because you got people as far as Scandinavia and South America listening to this show.
And guess what? For all you MMA guys, I'm gonna try to get once my schedule permits, and I'm not as busy doing trying to get business deals and being the director of security for BlurCon, and I might have another, business deal for doing executive protection for a music video. I was contacted by a marketing producer.
Sweet.
Okay.
I'm gonna I want to do an MMA. I want to do a combat sports, wrestling, Olympic, Scholastic High School, boxing, kickboxing, mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Do a combat sport segment or show with the Snowman.
Done.
I mean,
You
Charles,
know
you and I go back and forth about wrestling all the time, and no professional wrestling, of course, but mixed martial arts. You bring me in, I'm gonna be voicing some frustrations. I'm sorry. What?
The television network that airs my afternoon show just sent me a couple of guys that are in charge of the Women's Professional Football Association, and all I have to say is there may be some talks of Snowman Multimedia being their radio network next year.
Oh,
that's what's up. And I'm gonna tell you,
and the network that carries both my shows, they're talking about a $75,000 a year salary for 2 shows.
that's what's up. And I'm
How much? Say that again.
You heard what I said.
Starting at
75 grand.
And I'm gonna tell you
Starting at 7.
And I'm gonna tell you, for all you mixed martial arts fans, I'm gonna start you off with a hypothetical that's gonna start off the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to do a couple of dream matches. Here's a dream match for you. First dream match I'm going to give you. Prime BJ Penn versus Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov.
No, how you say it?
This has got to be a lightweight, of course. At 155.
155. Prime. The guy who beat Sean Shirk, Joe Stevenson, BJ Penn, versus Khabib in his prime. I would have paid $100 for that pay-per-view.
Man, listen. MS
Excuse me, Charles Faulkner. I want to say something first of all. BJ Penn, I respect you, but understand my legacy. I'm undefeated. Never lost a fight, never lost a round. I respect you, but understand you cannot beat Khabib.
But hey, you ain't never went against a guy like BJ Penn.
True.
BJ is the first of two men to hold UFC gold in two different weight classes.
It
was him and Randy Couture.
Randy Couture was
and then was it Randy?
Randy was first. Then it was BJ.
Because Randy's he was a three-time heavyweight, two-time light heavyweight champ.
And one-time interim.
One-time interim?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's 6. Okay, we're looking at.
So he has
because I know that 6 titles.
And I mean,
only man with them.
I'm a big Randy Couture fan. You got to think, Randy.
Wait till I get
the natural.
Wait till I sit down with Charles and a few others, and I get fully well versed in this.
And trust me,
I'm on the fringe. I'm on the fringes right now. I gotta say I'm on the fringes. But be that as it may,
I'm gonna give you some real good tips.
I'm listening.
While football is out, because football is where you get a major push.
Yes.
I know baseball, you're going to get a predominantly white and Hispanic audience, but year long, if you could do MMA, you're golden. And I'm going to tell you,
boxing.
shout out to Amanda Nunes retiring, and rightfully so, retire on the top, girl. And I tell you, this is where I think the LGBT community is very phony. Why don't you promote Amanda Nunes? She's a mother in a lesbian relationship, but she's the pound for pound #1 greatest female fighter in MMA history. Why don't you promote her?
I'll promote her.
Because guess what? She promotes family values.
She's Brazilian.
I'll promote her.
And she's married with children. She got married and became a mother. And it was her partner who gave birth to this little girl. Little girl's name is Regan. She's 2 years old now. She's a toddler.
But that's the reason why they won't promote her in the LGBT community, because she promotes She may be lesbian, but she still promotes family values.
Do you have any idea how many lesbian couples who are married are in the UFC?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Tisha Torres and Raquel Pennington, for example. What's her name? Jessica Andrade, the former strawweight champ. I think she's engaged or probably married. Who remembers Liz Carmouche?
Liz Carmouche.
She went to Bellator and became their flyweight champ there. First lesbian to become champion there. The Gorilla. And a former Marine, by the way.
And
a former Marine. I love it.
Then we could talk about how many service members who became really big in MMA. Randy Couture, former Army sergeant. Brandon Stan, who was a Marine captain. And you have others.
Tim Kennedy,
who's an Army Ranger and Green Beret sniper. I mean,
what's his name? It's not just them. Also, you got what's his name? Damian Maia, I believe, and what's his name? That middleweight from
Damian Maia.
No, light heavy.
Damian Maia was a SWAT officer in Brazil.
In Brazil, there's another one. What's his name? The Hammer. Martello, he's a
Yeah. So I
he's
mean,
got a he's a good dude. He's got a tattoo of like of a hammer on his chest. He has also got like the Star of David on one shoulder.
you have a lot of
So
guys who come from different walks of life in MMA. So definitely, I know we about to get on the 3.5 hour mark. Any last remarks?
Thank you
I just want to
all.
say, oh sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Thank you all
I'll be last.
for the support and for the blessings I got tonight. They are certainly going to go toward helping my family. And thank you to Charles for making that happen, and for y'all just for listening. I'm gonna go ahead and
Don't make me cry, nigga.
I'm trying, but I've been crying most of the evening after MS Delta guy in turn rode to the rescue. So you just gonna have to forgive me for that one.
Shout out to all you guys who watched, donated, subscribed, and are faithful. And thank you for everybody who comes to my panels and in my chats. You know, you guys make the magic happen. Thank you all. And we're going to grow slowly but surely. I don't give a fuck.
Absolutely, we are.
Thank you for everybody. And I like to put a special shout out to Angry Man, to BGS, Art New Style, Art of It More, and Kevin Samuels. Even in his passing, Kevin Samuels' salute to his life and legacy was my biggest ever with 20K views. Over 1,000 people liked that show. I think almost 2,000 people. And if I can do it once, you goddamn right we're going to do it again.
Better believe we are.
I had at the highest 850 people watching, and I had over 600 plus people viewing constantly on that one show. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. We love you. We may not always agree, but we still love you.
I just want to say, y'all ain't shit, and God bless y'all for it. But I will say also, Charles, not to get too religious here, but like when you talk about the number of people who you impact and everything, you must remember the parable of the farmer and the seeds that Jesus explained. Because the core audience at the center of it, the ones who get it and live by it and do the right thing based on that, that's the people that count.
Exactly. Thank you. Gavin, you want to say something?
Yeah, Commander Parker, thanks once again for allowing me on your broadcast. And earlier, when you suggested I start my own channel, if we could talk some more off the air, give me some tips on what I need to do to get it up and running, or what to, get it started, I'd appreciate it.
Definitely. Cool. Thank you all for viewing, and we out. Woo!
Woo!